戦争は変わった。一つの時代が終わり、俺たちの戦争は終わった。
War has changed. It's no longer about nations, ideologies, or ethnicity. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines. War and its consumption of life has become a well-oiled machine. War has changed. Verified soldiers carry algorithmic arms, manipulate social influence, AI enhance and regulate their timelines. Memetic control, information control, emotion control, battlefield control. Everything is monitored and kept under control. War has changed. The age of deterrence has become the age of control, all in the name of averting catastrophe from weapons of mass destruction. And he who controls the battlefield controls history. War has changed. And when the battlefield is under total control, war becomes routine.
Think outside the cage.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Crime News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. Today is December 15th, 2025. We are live to tape on episode 900. And today, Jingle Bell Ops. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, at Face Like the Sun, director of the Age of Deceit films and author of Archetypalism, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. It's Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
But it is also episode number 900.
Woo!
It has happened.
We don't have a song or a jingle for that or anything.
I think we're supposed to.
Oh, yeah. We probably do. Well, we did it.
Do have something.
Congratulations, Gonzo. 900 episodes. Who knew it was possible to do such a thing, especially without taking any advertising dollars, corporate sponsorships, platform, the whole thing. You guys know how it goes. And a big old shout out to all the producers over the history of human existence who have given their time, their talent, their treasure to make it happen. Couldn't do it without you. And that's just that. So big shout out to all the producers for the true accomplishment that we have done together over this, I don't know, too many years, Gonz.
I think if we think about all the number of people over the years who have produced once or over, many times over the years, it's got to be several hundred people, maybe upwards of 1,000 plus people.
It's possible that there's at least 900 of them. We haven't had that data. I don't know how far back the records go, but I do want to take an opportunity to thank a special producer here at the top of the show, because it is the fourth quarter of the supply drop. It is the fourth quarter of 2025. And we want to give a big shout out to producer Dame Epony Blaze.
Dame Epony Blaze.
Right. Dame Epony Blaze has been working hard in so many different ways, all of which I am not going to recount here. But one of the things is that Dame Epony Blaze plays an enormous role in getting the Canary Cry calendar created. Yes. And so I thought it was important because the Canary Cry calendars are going to start going out here real soon. And Dame Epony Blaze is just a real champion. So thank you very much, Dame Epony Blaze. And with that, I will also give the reminder that if you're on the supply drop or you join the supply drop, before December, you will be receiving your very own, very precious Canary Cry calendar. However, we are going to make available a small number of calendars that is in the sort of emergency stock to executive producers just for the rest of December. Yes, this is to encourage more executive producers for the month of December, but also there's always people who are very sad that they missed the deadline to join the supply drop, et cetera, et cetera. So if you support the show for $100 or more for any individual episode, you'll have the option to receive a Canary Cry calendar, or like last time, if you already have one or whatever, don't want it for whatever reason, you can make it available as a sort of pay it forward calendar that we'll give to a deserving Canarian. But there's only a couple more weeks for that, and a great way to say Merry Christmas to your favorite podcasters.
You want to know a fun fact about the podcast? This particular version, we have Canary Cry Radio that started in, 2012. But Canary Cry News Talk started in 2016, September. Right. The U.S. national debt in 2016 was $19.5 trillion, and it's at $38 trillion now. So about $19 trillion worth of debt during the existence of this podcast.
Hey, look at us go. We doubled the national debt during the podcast. That's very impressive. Are they correlated? Are they connected? Probably. Certainly.
Yeah, in some way.
We're costing this country 100% more. Anyways, there you go. Thank you, everybody. Okay, let's get into the show. Gons, do you have any other announcements to give before we get going?
Think so. I believe. We're knighting somebody today.
We will be knighting someone later on. It was not episode 900 Insta-Night, but somebody that we've been saving very special tonight on number 500. Or sorry, awesome. 900. We will do that. And what we aren't going to be diving into is the big announcement. The most important thing in the world on this Monday, Gons, is that Candace Owens and Erika Kirk will be meeting face-to-face to hash it out. Dun, dun, dun. It was a weird day, folks. It was a weird and horrible weekend as far as the ops across the world. And there's something about the announcement that Erika Kirk and Candace Owens will meet to discuss the bad behavior of both of them. That just kind of is going to fall into the background today. Because who cares?
Actually, there was something I totally forgot. And this is just a shout out to Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Pandas, who made this graphic for today's episode 900, plus the intro video. In the intro video, you heard about weapons of mass destruction.
Yes.
And it just so happens that right before we went live, President Trump had something to say about a new weapon of mass destruction.
Will this explain everything?
They're taking one more step to protect Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Woo!
No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. That's why today
we're doing it. We're going to war. Let's go.
You know what I love about that is Trump recognizing that he wasn't amped enough to emphasize weapon of mass destruction. So you can hear him like dig his heels in as he like pumped out like a more forceful weapon of mass destruction, but he lands it safely.
Yeah, he was expecting claps and gasps and things, which he often does, especially when there's a pool of reporters in the Oval Office, and like Maha and RFK's there. Whatever announcement Trump makes, he's you get a response from the room, but you'll see in the background, and we saw this both with Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump on some of military events previously. It's all military guys behind him who absolutely have no response to anything. That's how these military guys are. They're not going to cheer. They're not going to show anything. And so I think that's a funny reflection of what we saw with the big meeting that Trump and Hegseth did, that the mainstream media just loved saying, oh, this room full of military generals didn't hoot and holler and cheer for their announcements. No, they don't. They're robots, okay? They're human robots. It's the closest thing we have to robots is our good men and women in military leadership. But this is great. I mean, this is hilarious. For anybody who lived, who was of age around the year 2001, this was a big deal. Weapons of mass destruction, all right? This is why we had to spend trillions of dollars in 20 years in the Middle East to get basically absolutely nothing out of it, only to be made a fool of when we pulled out. Thank you, Biden.
It's our Vietnam, our generation's Vietnam. Where a whole bunch of people bought into this narrative, and we were told that this was a big threat. I justified everything, at least to the public.
I think specifically the phrase weapons of mass destruction is a legal phrase that activates the president's ability to act, or at least activates the process of Congress allowing the president to act in war. Because that was the whole thing with 2001. There was no reason to go into the Middle East until what we later found out was a complete 100% lie from Dick Cheney and the Bush administration that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. That was it. That was the legal framework that allowed the Bush administration to go into Iraq and specifically Iraq. We could go into Afghanistan. There was some Afghanistan stuff going on because somehow that had to do with Osama bin Laden. But we only went into Afghanistan because we wanted to go into Iraq and take out Saddam Hussein. Why? Because he wanted to, use euros to pay for oil instead of the petrodollar. This is most of these dictators. Their career ends when they decide to not sell their oil in petrodollars. And it's just a coincidence. They all become dictators with terrorism in their country that needed to go. But it was
weapons.
I have a vision of my head, in my head, of the exact image that they would show on CNN and other news organizations.
I have a little Bush Jr. talking about the weapons of mass destruction.
It was a satellite photo, and it's like the year 2000 satellite photo. It's just not a good photo, and there's like blurry little shapes and blurry little nothing. It looked like nothing. But they pointed at that satellite photo and said, see, those are weapons of mass destruction. We must act. We must give the president the ability to go in and get these because we're America. We can't let anybody have anything nice. We got to go get them. I think that's exactly what this announcement is for. I think it's not just a show. I think there's some serious legal triggers getting put into play, calling fentanyl weapons of mass destruction, which is logically not even totally wrong. I mean, fentanyl is more dangerous than the fake weapons of mass destruction that were in Iraq. So who knows? Let's go.
Well, that depends on who you ask. If they were nukes, then if they went off, they would definitely be as devastating. A couple 100,000 people.
They were nukes, indeed.
Or if they were Stargates, or I tend to think that Bush was talking about the body of Gilgamesh. That's what I think the weapon of mass destruction was. It's the DNA, the sacred DNA of Gilgamesh. We must go in there and get them. So anyway, all right, that's that. This announcement contrasted with Erika Kirk and Candace Owens having a closed door meeting. I mean, does anyone? I don't know. It feels like there's a lot more important stuff going on there, Basil.
And there's no way to describe waking up today to try to put together a show. I mean, this was and I don't want to, I want to say this seriously. This weekend was an absolute mess globally.
It was an avalanche, almost it was too quiet for a couple weeks, and then we just got everything that's 2 weeks worth in a weekend, basically. That's kind of what it felt like.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell ops. And a blizzard of, unfortunately, very deadly things happening. One of them that came out of nowhere this morning, and we'll just touch on it. There's not a whole lot of information available. This is about Rob Reiner, Gons, talking about.
Oh, we're doing Rob Reiner first.
That's what the notes say. Let's do
it.
Oh,
it does.
PsyOps.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is a Fox report.
And good evening. I'm Trace Gallagher in Los Angeles. We have breaking news coming into the Fox News channel. You are looking live right there at Los Angeles. This is actually the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles, where authorities are telling us a couple of hours ago they went into a home that is owned by the actor, producer, director, and political activist Rob Reiner. And inside that home, they found 2 dead bodies. One is a male, 78 years old. The other is a female, they tell us around 68 years old. Rob Reiner, we can tell you there has been no identification, but Rob Reiner is 78 years old. His wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, is around 68 years old. But again, the police have not given us any kind of identification. It is important to note that in the 2 hours that they have been in the house, that they found the bodies, there has been no word from anybody in the Reiner family at all. We know that robbery homicide for Los Angeles police were the first ones on scene. There were investigators also on scene, but again, the police have not given us any type of information except for the fact that they found 2 dead bodies in there. There has been no.
Who's pounding on the wall in the background? Do you hear that, Basil? On this clip?
No, I don't hear it.
Okay.
You sure this is not in your house?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, it sounded like somebody was pounding on the window or something in the studio of this guy. And he's doing this report, and it's like they want to let him know that it's confirmed that it was Rob Reiner or something. Somebody pounding on the wall. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, very strange. Not a lot of information. He's putting 2 and 2 together. This guy's an investigator. He pretty much figured it out. I mean,
78, around 68. Oh, I expect. Yeah, this is very bizarre. There's not a whole lot of information out there. It's been very interesting watching the internet respond to this. Rob Reiner, as we will see from Trump's reaction to the thing, is quite famous online for being kind of maybe the poster boy for really unhinged sort of leftist behavior when it comes to posts and conspiracy theories and bad language and sort of the kind of leftist hate that's still on X. For anybody who hasn't like come in contact or know why, this is part of why this is such a big deal right now, is because, as you heard in the report there, they're always including this. He's a political activist. He's an activist, and he funds all the Democrats and blah, blah, blah. Most of his activism is just like being really mean to everybody on Twitter. But what are you going to do? We'll get more on that in a little bit. Yeah, and for those who don't know who Rob Reiner is, as far as his Hollywood career goes, he did The Princess Bride, notably, Stand By Me, The Bucket List, When Harry Met Sally was probably his most famous one. So, it's a serious sort of Hollywood fixture, which makes this, of course, even more required to cover by the mainstream media. The last piece of information that we received was that Nick Reiner, who is Rob's sort of very troubled son, he's about 32, I believe, is what's being reported, has sort of a long history of addiction and just real problems, as often happens when you have a super famous dad. Says here on New York Post, Nick Reiner has been charged in his parents' double homicide and is being held on $4 million bail. That's the most recent update. They've been really cagey about the whole thing, as you can see in this first report, they wouldn't even like confirm that it was actually them. It just happened to be two bodies that are the same age as them. And then, Nick Reiner was being contacted, and then he was brought in for questioning and blah, blah, blah. It's just been this extremely slow, very cagey sort of, I guess, media, what do you call it? I don't know, media rollout. What is this Epstein list thing you have here, Guns?
Well, these are just internet things going on because, of course,
Does
people
he
are
appear in the Epstein files?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Rob Reiner appearing on the Epstein list. And certainly the one of the strange things about not strange, but just people reporting, because of course Rob Reiner very much entangled in elite stuff, with Hollywood and everything. This is Breitbart reporting Rob Reiner's wife, Michelle Singer, was the photographer who took the photo for the original cover of Trump's breakout book, The Art of the Deal. It's that famous shot where is the shot where he's kind of look at young Trump there. The Art of the Deal. He's got his business shot. There's like trees in the background. So, yeah, very much entangled. And the sentiment I thought was very interesting too. And of course, it's funny because the conservatives, who are the loudest voices, at least on my timeline, were quick to point out how much they can be sad about this and not, dance on his grave because he was some terrible liberal progressive because he made good movies, and a lot of those movies painted their childhoods, so it's like they have these memories coming of age watching these films and defining their childhood, and then watching this producer lose his whatever into liberal craziness, and then
feels like an opportunity for the GOP to kind of be like, hey, your guy can die. I mean, I'm not going to say Rob Reiner is like the Democrat Charlie Kirk, but
no,
they were nothing alike, but I'd say they were of similar
stature or like levels in terms of influence and I mean, you can argue
similar opacity or something. Kind of had
interesting way to talk about
kind of at the same level a little bit as far as the kind of influence that they
wielded. The influence, I would say,
different kinds of influence, but similar level of influence. An interesting response, and this we're going to get Trump's response and Marjorie Taylor Greene's response. Of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene having a very interesting pullback from supporting Trump. She's going to be stepping down from her government position on January 6th, and really has been on this tour, almost an apology tour, forever having supported Trump. Trump has turned around and, of course, put his targets on her. But I'm going to start with Donald Trump's truth. Donald Trump's truth. So we have a lot of the GOP folks finding a way to be sort of gracious about this. And, it seems like it would be a good opportunity for Donald Trump to be kind of gracious about it. Let's see what he said. He says, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Good start. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as, all caps, Trump derangement syndrome, no period yet.
He died because of Trump. Is he just implicating himself? I don't understand what he's doing here.
He died of a very sad disease, Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS, period. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. So
weird. Such a weird post, man. Gotta say.
We will launch a new age.
I would say if I had to analyze the Trump response, I'd say he's making a commentary on, Rob Reiner was truly unhinged on
He
X,
was.
I guess. X is really the only place that I saw him. And just like truly kind of vile, unhinged. Trump's not wrong in that he certainly had maybe the worst case of TDS we've ever seen, but maybe don't need to include that on, on the thing.
His body's not even cold yet, and Trump is posting how it's about the Trump derangement syndrome.
An equally unhinged response by Trump there.
Yeah.
Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted with an image of Trump's response there, and Marjorie Taylor Greene says Rob Reiner and his wife were tragically killed at the hands of their own son, who reportedly had drug addiction and other issues. The remaining children are left in serious mourning and heartbreak. This is a family tragedy, not about politics or political enemies. Many families deal with a family member with drug addiction and mental health issues. It's incredibly difficult and should be met with empathy, especially when it ends in murder. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, very, very level-headed response there, not just to the news of Rob Reiner, but contrasting, juxtaposing her response next to Trump's Truth Social there. Yeah, I mean, geez Louise. So
I'm
that's
seeing a lot of that too. The idea that if this would use the thought exercise, that if this was the other way around politically, how would you respond? And then kind of not necessarily denouncing Trump, but the early signs of maybe like I don't know, a separation of some sort. It's very interesting what's happening.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene for sure.
I know she's always been that, but more from the general sort of,
you're saying not Marjorie, other GOP
yes,
folks.
others, yeah.
Well, that's exactly what this is, and I don't like Trump. I don't think he either doesn't kind of think about this or he doesn't care. Probably is what it is. He's very committed to play the Trump character no matter what's going on. So he's very consistent in that way. But a lot of people on the right finding this as an opportunity to maybe model how they think the left should have responded to Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know if there's any more details that are needed, but
I mean, there's a lot of
things to wake up to.
Yeah, so there's stuff out there, and obviously with Rob Reiner, you're opening a can of a lot of stuff that was covered or uncovered, however you want to look at it, as the wake of Pizzagate in 2015, 2016, when people were really discovering all the weird, creepy stuff going on. Rob Reiner popped up quite a bit in those discussions. And so people are kind of bringing up old stuff, but maybe it's the first time for a lot of more mainstream folk to run into some of that type of information that's out there. So I'm sure, that's so interesting how stuff does recycle a lot, but it just gets presented to a new audience. And I'm seeing that a lot with a lot of truthy topics.
Wait, what recycled? Sorry, you lost me there.
Oh, the idea of the Rob Reiner stuff that's related to Pizzagate and Epstein and that whole can of worms where because I don't know if you've looked into all that, Basil, but you know how it goes. You go to the internet, there's plenty of stuff that is suspect at the very least. You can't necessarily maybe come to any conclusions, but it's a wealth of things that are like, okay, it's starting to pile up, even if like half of it is true, it's pretty bad. So anyway,
well, and that does beg. I mean, the question has been asked regarding Nick Reiner, who, was kind of following in his dad's footsteps a little bit, was doing a little bit of acting, notoriously fell into some very serious addiction and drug issues. It's interesting. I don't know if we have any links to it, but you could probably just pull it up on X or something. But the image of Nick Reiner that all the mainstream outlets are using, many of the social media images, they're showing a picture of Nick from about 10 years ago when he's, very slim, sort of handsome, he's done up, he was doing his Hollywood thing. Whereas it's telling a really different story than the Nick Reiner of today. You can find pictures of Nick Reiner of today. He has totally lost the sort of youthful Hollywood actor, handsome guy thing. looks like he's really fallen on hard times, grew a goatee, and has a buzz cut and put on some weight and looks kind of like a scary guy now. Maybe who knows? But he's famously, I mean, Rob even made, I believe, a movie depicting, his son. I don't know if it was supposed to be explicitly his son, but try to tell the story of the really hard life that his son had. Or perhaps,
do you know what it was called?
No.
It was titled Being Charlie.
Being Charlie, right. So, there's an interesting thing to, if you want to get sort of conspiratorial or even just skeptical about it, if a father has a hard time raising a son and the son has tons of problems, for the father to have the resources and the ability to kind of retell his son's story from his perspective, for kind of putting it on the record. I haven't seen Being Charlie. I don't know what it includes. I would be interested to see maybe how that movie stacks up to maybe Nick's own memory of what his childhood was like. Who knows if Rob was involved in all sorts of the nasty Hollywood stuff, and not to make any suggestions out of pocket, but he is of that level. I mean, that's how Hollywood.
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising if he got sucked into whatever the weird stuff is going on in those ranks.
Yeah.
But
like many Hollywood horror stories, when people get about 30 and all that horrible, stuff catches up to them, that's tends to be when it really goes south for them.
We are a global production company.
Sure. Yeah. You kind of say that after everything.
I mean, it's just.
Speaking of which, let's move on to one of the bigger stories. This happened in Australia, and it's going exactly the direction that you'd expect it to go.
Yes. 12 seconds of Chuck Schumer, I think, summarizes some of the attitude of, I guess, the issues of today concerning the introduction to this Australia situation.
And of course, I'm going to say a few words about the terrible shooting in Sydney, Australia. Okay. So, and first, of course, as I always say, no matter what, go Bills. They beat the Patriots today. It's a big
football. Got to talk football before we talk massacre in Australia. Come on.
Quick production question, Gans. Did you line up any jingles for this episode?
Yeah. Did I miss one?
Yeah, you haven't played any of them.
Oh, no, I played the PSYOP one.
Okay, well, play the gun control one and the other ones, the ones for this section.
Oh, all right. Hold on. I was just going to get into
gun violence is an epidemic.
Here we go.
I don't know.
I just don't want you to line them up and not get the satisfaction of getting them on the show.
Sure. Yeah.
All that wasted work. I don't want your. Here we go. Oh, you did it. So we'll take this Fox News just to get us into the story. Australian bystander disarms suspected shooter in Australia Hanukkah attack. Harrowing footage from the Hanukkah shooting in Sydney, Australia, shows a bystander tackling and disarming one of the gunmen who opened fire and killed 16 people while injuring dozens more on Sunday. The footage shows the bystander sneak up on the shooter as he's firing on victims off screen. The man then is tackled and the shooter wrenched the gun away from him. He then turned the weapon on the shooter but did not fire. I was watching some coverage from Australian news broadcasts, really hailing this man as a hero for not shooting the terrorist. They're like, oh my gosh, and he didn't shoot him? Oh, what a great guy. You are not in America, my friend. The hero has been identified by Australian media as Ahmed Al-Ahmad. Sorry, I was not trying to make fun of his name there.
Wow, way to make an inclusive podcast, Basil, by insulting the entire.
Literally got tongue tied there, 43.
Okay.
The man's cousin, Mustafa Al-Ahmad, told Australia's News 7 that Ahmad was shot once in the arm and once in the shoulder. The injuries came when the second gunman fired on Ahmed after he tackled the first man. And then it goes into him saying some nice things about that. You got that? You want to watch that clip?
Well, I was kind of playing it in the background. I wasn't necessarily going to do all the sounds and everything, but
okay, yeah,
people get an idea.
I'm going to scoot down to some of the details about the shooting. New South Wales police confirmed on Monday local time that Sunday's shooting killed at least 16 people, adding 40 people remained hospitalized. One of the gunmen was killed and the other remains in critical condition. Australian authorities have confirmed the attack targeted the Jewish community, which was celebrating the first day of Hanukkah on Bondi Beach. Neither of the shooters has been identified, and that is not so true anymore. This was published the 14th, and today's the 15th. So
there's a big red bar that says breaking. Authorities release new surveillance images, and then also from the Brown
University. We'll get to the
Brown. Is that Brown? Okay. See, I don't even know anymore. There's two things happening at the same time.
So the shooters were a father and son team, which is interesting. New York Post was reporting that the father and son recently...
father-son situation, huh?
What?
I said another father-son situation.
Oh, you mean like Rob Reiner and
yeah,
father's theme? We've got father-son themes here. Yeah. The terrorists were a father-son duo, and New York Post was reporting that they had recently taken a trip to the South Philippines. Now, for those who know about the South Philippines, that is the sort of really dangerous part of the Philippines. South Philippines is where a lot of terrorist camps are located. If you ever visit the Philippines, and if you're a white person and you tell them you're going to the South, they will tie you up and throw you back on a plane to get out of the country, because that's a crazy thing to do. But they were noting that the father-son team had recently gone to the South Philippines. They haven't quite jumped to the conclusion that they had done some sort of training or gotten radicalized. There's some very interesting, I would say, maybe mandatory ambiguity by the mainstream media about whether they were radicalized during a totally normal, friendly trip to the Philippines, or if they had self-radicalized and then gone to the South Philippines to meet up with whoever. The early reporting is they're always looking for something to say, but it's very interesting because we're right in the middle of this sort of global ops to really draw some lines in the sand. Now, of course, on one hand, you gotta have this response from the prime minister. Of course, the second we hear about a shooting, another mess. Sorry. One interesting thing about the video, for those people who have an eye for this sort of thing, you hear of a shooting in Australia and you think, well, that's hard. I didn't really know they had guns down there. They weren't allowed to have guns. You can get a gun license. It is possible. You'll notice, this is happening in Australia because he's using a sort of, it looks like a bolt action single fire rifle. Does not look like even in some of the weird angles that you showed me earlier, Guns, the shooting is very slow. It's very laborious. Turns out that the father and the father-son duo had, I think it was 6 licenses to own guns. So he owned the guns legally, which is often, a big point of conversation. But this is the Australian Prime Minister's immediate response to the presumed Islamic terrorist attack on a Hanukkah celebration.
There's a couple pieces of footage that I've been shown here in the background. For those of you just listening, the first one was obviously the guy tackling the shooter from the side and grabbing the gun out of his hand and pointing it back at him. The second footage is behind the shooter, and he's just kind of picking up his gun and putting bullets in it, and it's a big long rifle looking thing, so it does look like it takes a little while to load
I
up
was
this gun.
referring to
And
before.
exactly. So, but the angle of this shot is strange, and you were telling me, Basil, that this is like an optical illusion. That the people that are, so what people are pointing out is that there's what appears to be from the footage. It's behind the shooter, and what he's looking at and what he's pointing his gun at are some people, some distance away, not too far, but they're also kind of just walking around. They don't have their guns drawn, or no, they do have their guns drawn, but they don't look like they're in a distress situation where there's gunfire towards them.
I don't
And
know.
then
I
they
don't know
have
if they have guns drawn, but yeah. So
oh no, this
basically,
guy has a gun drawn. Yeah,
the terrorist does.
the terrorist does, but then this other
Yeah.
guy, this guy in the white shirt, pulls out a gun. Watch.
I don't think he pulls out a gun.
What is that?
He's
He's not holding up a gun. He's pointing at
No,
them.
I think he's pointing. He's pointing at the guy. So, because it's a very strange angle, and we thought we
right.
were going to do this later on in the thing, but yeah,
Okay.
he's looking. You see the terrorist holding the gun, lifting it up very laboriously, working the bolt action, and he's shooting way off to the left there. The angle is weird because he's shooting off to the left, but the angle of the camera is pointing towards some people who seem to just kind of be meandering in full view of the guy shooting the gun. It is very odd.
I mean, this angle makes it look like a direct line behind the shooter, and then because the body of the shooter covers the guy that's walking towards him. So I don't know. I guess
from the angle of the camera for sure, but you can see the way he's holding the gun and the way the gas is expelled. He's shooting off to the left, so he is within sort of eye range or
shot,
whatever.
yeah.
But the shooter's attention is off to the left. But
okay. Well, anyway, sorry, I brought it up a little early, but
it's okay. Now here is the response from the Prime Minister. Right after
I want to conclude finally by saying that the government is prepared to take whatever action is necessary. Included in that is the need for tougher gun laws. And this afternoon at 4 o'clock, I will put on the agenda of the National Cabinet tougher gun laws, including limits on the number of guns that can be used or licensed by individuals. A review of licenses over a period of time. People's circumstances change. People can be radicalized over a period of time. Licenses should not be in perpetuity. And checks, of course, making sure that those checks and balances are in place as well. I'll take to National Cabinet this afternoon a proposal to empower agencies to examine what can be done in this area. Quite clearly, the Howard government's gun laws have made an enormous difference in Australia and are a proud moment of reform, quite rightly, achieved across the Parliament with bipartisan support. If we need to toughen these up, if there's anything we can do, I'm certainly up for it. And I hope to get National Cabinet on board for that this afternoon.
I think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests.
So
if that doesn't show the difference between Australia and America, I don't know.
So he says that. I mean, Sir Darren nails it in the chat. He says, "How do you get any tougher than the gun laws they already have in Australia?" Good grief! I mean, that's true. I refreshed myself on gun laws in Australia this morning, and at least, of course, from an American perspective, looks absolutely draconian. But basically, for the most part, the only type of gun that any normal person can kind of get without being, ex-police or military or something is your, bolt action hunting rifle, which is an interesting thing as Americans to see because, of course, all of our shootings happen with, AR-15 semi-automatic rifles, which let's say are also hunting rifles, just less of a pain in the butt. And so, when Biden was in office and the gun conversation comes up again and again, which it will come up again today in America. There's lots of talk of like, nobody needs any sort of gun unless it's a regular hunting rifle, bolt action. That's the only thing anybody needs. And here we have an example of a bolt action rifle being used in the worst terrorist event in Australia in 30 years. Oh, that just flew right into my brain and then right out the other side. So hopefully it'll come back. So we have that, right? Oh, yeah. He mentions we're going to get on that this afternoon. So it sounds like they're ready to just get to work and just make those
They get to
changes.
hit the big red button that's been sitting under a case for years.
Right.
He probably gets to
Right.
smash the case and hit the button now.
So whatever they
Batman.
want to do, whatever they are going to do, sounds like they, have all their ducks in a row. Sounds like the paperwork's already written up. Sounds like everything they need to change the law can happen in an afternoon. We'll see how that goes.
Australia might turn into, if they keep doing, not just Australia, but every nation that has all these gun laws, they're going to be like siloed. It's going to be like the Civil War eventually. The people are going to be walking around with muskets or something, or homemade. Remember the guy in Japan that killed Abe that made the homemade gun?
Yeah, right.
That's probably going to, they're going to start banning stuff like that too. All that info.
I'm actually seeing, can I pull this up? I had pulled up the gun laws in Australia. Shoot, let me see if I can pull it up again here.
Are you going to pull it up on the screen?
Because it literally talks about their sort of different restrictions on guns, and like airsoft guns are included in that, and gun laws in Australia. I don't know if this is the most important thing to dig into now, but it was interesting when I pulled it up. There you are. Okay, how we classify, let's see here. So semi-automatic rimfire rifles, semi-automatic pump-action shotguns. Okay, KKK.
KKK?
No, not KKK. Oh, here we go. Category B, moderate restriction, single shot and repeating centerfire rifles, lever action shotguns with a magazine capacity of 5 rounds, and muzzle loading weapons built after 1901. So muskets from 100.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so all right. Wait, so you're saying they can't even have muskets, or they can?
Those are the moderate restriction muskets from 1901. Moderate restriction. Okay. Now, of course, gun laws are only going to be a part of this, but the Prime Minister also said something very interesting here regarding security agencies. Did he?
Oh, sorry, I did not switch the thing.
There we go.
And then we'll go fill in there.
Left unchecked, as you were just saying, anti-Semitism leads to terrorism and violence targeting the innocent. Your government has come under criticism in claiming that it has effectively responded to the rise of anti-Semitism in Australia since October 7, 2023. In September, your government recognised a Palestinian state. Your ministers have attacked the Israeli government. Senior ministers refused to visit the sites of the October 7 massacres. And you created a special Islamophobia envoy alongside an anti-Semitism envoy. Have you taken the threat of anti-Semitism seriously? And can you guarantee the safety of Jewish Australians?
Yes, we have taken it seriously. And we've continued to act. We've continued to work with Jewish community leaders. We've continued to take all the advice from the security agencies to put in place special measures, and we'll continue to do so. Phil?
Okay.
It's continue to take the advice of security agencies. Now, we might be tempted to just think, oh, that's Australian security agencies. I don't know what their FBI or CIA are, but I'm sure they've got some good intelligence. They're in Five Eyes, so they're pretty well equipped over there. But then there was some, of course, because this is an anti-Semitism issue, happened on Hanukkah at a Jewish community thing, the Islamic aspect of these shooters. We actually had Bibi Netanyahu responding pretty quick as well.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. I wrote, "Your call for a Palestinian state pours fuel on the anti-Semitic fire. It rewards Hamas terrorism. It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action, appeasement with resolve. Instead, Prime Minister, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. We saw an action of a brave man, turns out a Muslim brave man, and I salute him, that stopped one of these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. But it requires the action of your government, which you're not taking. And you have to, because history will not forgive hesitation and weakness. It will honor action and strength. That's what Israel expects of each of your governments in the West and elsewhere, because the disease spreads and it will consume you as well. But we are worrying right now about our people, our safety, and we do not remain silent. We fight those who try to annihilate us. They're not only trying to annihilate us, they attack us because they attack the West. In Syria, we saw yesterday.
We could probably stop right there. He goes into some other things going on. So Bibi saying he warned not about anything specific, but warned the Australian government that things are getting pretty bad. You're not doing enough for anti-Semitism. We just heard in the clip from the Prime Minister about how they've been doing everything they can to both combat anti-Semitism and anti-Islam. So you've got this interesting sort of meta battle going on geopolitically and around the whole world. The whole world is swirling with either attention on Israel and Israeli stuff and all this, or Muslim and Muslim stuff. I mean, we're in that time of year now where Christmas markets are going on, and there's been like 4 different headlines regarding that. But very interesting was this AustraliaTimes.com article where the headline is Israeli intelligence warned Australia of threats to Jewish community before Bondi Beach massacre. Mossad, and they just say Mossad, which is very unusual for sort of.
I don't know how credible this outlet is, but
who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Says Mossad reported, what is it? Yeah, Australia Times, who knows? Mossad reportedly alerted Canberra to risk facing Jewish Australians as anti-Semitic violence surged prior to the deadly Hanukkah shooting in Sydney. Israeli intelligence agency Mossad issued warnings to Australian authorities about threats to the Jewish community in the lead up to a mass shooting at Hanukkah celebration in Sydney's Bondi Beach that left a dozen people dead and dozens more injured. According to Israeli security sources, Mossad communicated multiple alerts to Canberra, highlighting elevated risks to Jewish Australians and Jewish sites, reflecting mounting concerns over anti-Semitic violence amid heightened international tensions. So the the implication is that this is related to Gaza or other international things that Israel is doing, not just sort of a blind hatred of Jews or something. This is
Well,
what's
Bibi even said that it's that because of the Australian Prime Minister, they're not condemning a Palestinian state. So, of course, everything hinges on Israel. The dividing line in the sand right now, worldwide, is Israel.
right.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. There is other reports here. I don't know if you wanted to go down anything else on.
Yeah,
Go over anything
whatever
else on
you
that one.
want.
But abc.net Australia, so this is official ABC. They say in an article about this, it's titled ASIO examined Bondi Beach gunman Naveed Akram's in 2019 for close ties to Islamic State cell.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it says that the ABC understands investigators from the Joint Counterterrorism Team, the JCTT, a unit comprised of state and federal agencies, believe the gunman had pledged allegiance to the IS terrorist group. 2 IS flags were found in the car at Bondi Beach, according to senior officials speaking on condition of anonymity. One flag could be seen in footage from the scene on the bonnet of the car. A senior JCTT official speaking on condition of anonymity said ASIO took an interest in Naveed Akram 6 years ago after police foiled plans for an IS terrorist attack.
Oh,
so
interesting. So he
it's
was
very
on
similar
the radar.
yes, he was. I mean, why is it that anytime stuff like this happens, they are done by people that have been on the radar, as is often used in America as well when it comes to the FBI and some of these school shooters and stuff. It's just always, it's never just random. It never ever is random. They're always actors or people that have some ties or involvement with the officials in some way.
Yeah.
So
And for those who need to the acronym spelled out, the ASIO is the Australian Security Intelligence Organization.
yeah. Okay. That must be their like FBI
Something.
thing.
Yeah, maybe it's FBI or
I think CIA style. There's a different one. It's like AISI or something. ASIS, something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I mean, obviously, this is going to spark debates when it comes to who is actually doing this.
We are a global production company.
I don't know, but man, it's too, I feel bad for the people that were killed, and I hate it because this wasn't the only shooting, Basil, over the weekend.
No, it wasn't. There was a clip here. I don't know if you want to do it, but you have a clip here regarding Mossad officially joining the investigation into the Australia massacre.
Yes. This is from. I believe this is from. Is this from Israeli TV?
Looks like it.
It says RT, so RT shared it.
Yeah, RT reposted it.
Oh, you know what? I don't think it's in English, dude. Yeah, okay. So let me read the captions here, because otherwise we're not going to know what he's saying. Israeli intelligence agencies, wow, they talk fast, including the Mossad, are involved in investigating the attack in Sydney to determine if anyone is behind the attackers who carried out the attack, or if it is who carried out the attack, or if it is called lone attackers who set out one morning to carry out an attack without any organization backing them. In the first stage, what we understand is that this is about the options that, oh my goodness, they go so fast on certain words. This is about all the options that are on the table. That is to say, it is about a local organization. Either Iran is behind these attackers, or as the informants, either today or possibly. I don't know what he's saying, Basil. Oh, Hezbollah. Okay, so they're saying they're just trying to say if Mossad is involved, they're trying to figure out if it is a greater organization like Hezbollah, or if it's just some people that were random, or if they're just peripheral folks that may have been involved or informants.
He's pattering. He's pattering on television is what he's doing.
Right.
It did go out in several mainstream outlets that India issues high alert for Jewish establishments after Sydney terror attack as well.
Yes, I have that clip.
I don't think it's a clip. Oh yeah.
It's a clip. Yep, here it is.
Again, a high-level alert has recently been issued regarding Jews in India as per the latest reports coming in. Terrorist organizations, as per sources, are planning major attacks in India in connection with the Jewish festival Hanukkah, and Jewish establishments in Delhi, Bengaluru and Mumbai are on the target.
You know, it's so strange. It's breaking news, intelligence agencies on high alert. It's just very...
And Mumbai are on the target is what our sources are telling us. From December 14th, the 8th day of Jewish festival, Hanukkah, remember, will begin.
Okay, so there you go. India's on high alert, Australia's locking down, and
so
America had its own thing.
A couple of things. If you're on X, you're going to see a lot of things flying around. One of the rumors. Now, keep in mind, we know what's going on here. We know Obama himself gave away the plan to flood the internet with as much stuff as possible to make it impossible to discern what's true or not true. The whole media infrastructure over the past few years has specifically been obviously curated to take away the ability to discern what is true or not true, to sort of individuals trying to navigate it. This is all part of breaking down the power that sort of decentralized information, decentralized news had gained over the past 10 years before this, but to discredit the very act of getting information online, which makes it very easy for the mainstream media to claim sort of consensus reality, because online, hey, it's just Wild West out there. It's crazy. But a few things rolling around. One is a rumor that the shooter is or was a member of the IDF. If you try to search this, you'll find mostly fact checks from various Australian outlets who do a pretty bad job of making the case and then debunking the case, as they usually do. There's lots of talk about this new one. We see this new one. This one really came, I think it was the Trump assassination attempt was where we really first saw this. If not Trump, it was Charlie Kirk, where the Google search results for somebody's name, right? Or I know as Charlie Kirk, this was a big, hullabaloo for a while online. Is like, hey, somebody searched the shooter's name the day before it happened. Somebody searched the surgeon that Charlie got sent to the day before, and they searched them out of Tel Aviv, and they searched them out of Washington, D.C. Somebody is searching the details. Now, we get that pretty much with everything that happens now. It's this weird new category of like evidence that immediately breaks out. Now, there's some reports, mostly in X and Facebook posts, that the search results showed the names of these shooters coming out, a day before, or this type of thing. The problem is that that's so easy to fake. I don't think anybody should be hanging their hat on a piece of information like that, because very few people are going to go run those Google search results themselves. Usually, if you see that, you see a screen capture or an alleged screen capture of somebody else doing it, if they're even showing any evidence. And of course, screen captures can be faked very easily. But that was one of the things going on, which of course immediately inflamed the entire, anti-Semitism thing. The IDF.
Being somebody who does collect and search and do all that stuff, especially for this show, I will tell you that there are certain anomalies that also occur. I don't know if it's because of certain ways websites get scraped, or maybe there's some API things that get outdated or whatever. But oftentimes you can see anomalies or what look like anomalies only because the website that's hosting whatever you're looking for they refreshed it, with the new information, with maybe the names of the shooters or whatever it may be. But for some reason, the way the data of that website is being scraped is dated like a couple days before or something, or even months before. I found somewhere it's like, whoa, they talked about this in this year or whatever. And it's not really that, but for some reason, the Google search will find those results. So
Yeah.
again, it's an inexact science for the conspiracy theorist to be wielding. So yeah,
Right.
definitely don't hang your hat on it. Of course, you can definitely show maybe some trends or some weird things, but yeah, not a strong piece of data to support whatever you're.
It's not rock solid. I mean, it
Yeah,
can
it's not
be
really rock
it
solid.
can be something, but it's not rock
Might
solid.
be
It's
compelling, yeah.
easy to fake, and it's et cetera. And there's also, again, rumors going around, because I imagine if y'all are online at all, this is the perfect time right after something happens that pretty much anybody can just post literally anything. And it can, even without thinking about it, it can be kind of included in your theory of everything, basically. Another one
Right.
that's just getting posted around that I could not track down to verify. Doesn't mean it's not true, but talking about how the guy who stopped the shooter, you heard Bibi say that he was a Muslim man who stopped the shooter, and good on him. There's some people claiming he's not a Muslim man. He's a Maronite Christian, Middle Eastern sort of Christian sect.
Okay, so he's either Islam or he's IDF Jewish or he's Christian.
Exactly.
Wow,
Don.
that's
Exactly.
Well, okay. Well, all
The
right. I mean, I
hero
wonder
is-
what they're stirring up over there with. Oh,
Well,
God.
the rumor is that one of the shooters was IDF, but yes, the guy who stopped him was either Muslim or he was
the
Christian.
guy who stopped him. Okay.
Or I'm sure, who knows, it'll pop up that he was in the IDF too.
He was a Muslim to the Muslims. He was a Jew to the Jews, and he was a Christian to the Americans.
So simultaneously, and this is the difficulty with us on this show, Gons.
Yes,
This is
it
what
is. Yeah,
makes
it
it so difficult for us to really capture people's imaginations, because we always have to be aware of the real war that's going on. And Sir Darren's video at the top of this 900th episode perfectly encapsulates the real war going on. That's the 5th generational warfare. And the
I knew it.
5th gen warfare.
They're targeting you. They're targeting you.
5th gen warfare. That was very good, Guns. Very well done. I just want to make sure to give you props when you totally nail it. You totally nailed it. Yes, the 5th gen warfare. And if we're not doing this show so that we can go through and say, well, I kind of believe this rumor and I kind of believe this rumor, and I think.
Oh, how exhausting! How exhausting!
And this was Bibi Netanyahu, his way of blah, 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 whatever. Okay. We're one thing we are sure of is the 5th generation warfare. It is fought in the mind. It is fought on social media. Yes, all countries, United States, Israel, Australia, everybody, China, thank you, is always fighting in this battlefield. And it's not just a sort of metaphorical, when Alex Jones says it's a war for your mind, that's, you could take that as sort of like, ooh, spiritual, or of course it is spiritual, or, ooh, it's sort of metaphorical. This is literally whole divisions of militaries of the most powerful countries in the world have pouring billions of dollars and their smartest minds into just making social media into what it is today. So here for us today, we can kind of set some of the unknown details aside, because we know, thanks to our diligence in tracking the 5th generation warfare over so many years, we can know that whatever is getting put out there, we just a few years ago, especially on this show, we were just about analyzing the mainstream media, tearing apart all the ways that the mainstream media was lying to us and how it's serving all the agendas of dark forces around the world. We know this, but the social media side is exactly the same. So the only way to win is to set aside the little details that they want us all to fight about and see the broader picture in the context of the Bible, of spiritual warfare, and of what we know we're heading towards. And yes, there is an aspect of psychological warfare coming from the Australia side, coming from the Israeli side, coming from the American side. But this is going to be another, because of the rapid fire, and excuse my metaphor, the rapid fire events of the weekend, we know for a fact that there are ops at play here, Guns.
Yes. Which part are we on? I don't even know what part we're on anymore.
I was taking a break to see if you had anything you wanted to say.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're right. This is, as you mentioned, the 5th gen warfare is the narrative war. It is to get us to argue, and not just argue, but vote, and not just vote, but seems like kill over it. Die on the hill of whatever they want you to die on the hill on. And so there's going to be so many different layers and offshoot things. We had this story here from the Jerusalem Post. Arsen Ostrovsky, Post contributor and pro-Israel human rights lawyer, wounded at Bondi Beach.
Oh yeah,
And
this is how you know there's something at play here.
right. This is again. I'm not gonna. I don't even know how much of the sort of I don't know what the internet conjured up for the response to this, how true it is, but graphic photo of a man who's all bloody. So just heads up for people. Just 2 weeks prior, Ostrovsky warned about the quote alarming surge in Jew hate since October 7th, including the defilement of Australian landmarks being hijacked as platforms for intimidation, end quote. So there is a consistent message going on here. Mossad warned them. Bibi warned them. This guy warned them. Arsen Ostrovsky warned them. A lot of warnings, Basil. The revelation of the method. They will warn. They will. It's actually, it's kind of the same way the IDF goes into Gaza and stuff and blows up stuff, right? We're gonna blow up this building. We're shooting this rocket at this building.
Yeah,
it's gonna blow up. Okay, you guys don't get out of the way. We told you it's gonna blow up. So if you die, it's your fault.
Right.
Arsen Ostrovsky, head of the Australian Israel and Jewish Affairs Council Sydney office and longtime contributor to the Jerusalem Post, was among those wounded in the mass shooting at the Hanukkah event at Bondi Beach in Sydney on Sunday evening. Quote, I'm in the hospital recovering now, Ostrovsky, who is receiving treatment, later wrote to the Post. Quote, bullet grazed head, lots of bleeding. Doctors said miracle survived. Was that close? Had been stitched up. Now, I don't know if this is a translation thing or if a robot is translating what he's saying. Worst thing was being apart from my wife plus kids at that instance. I got hit when I went toward them. Thankfully, they got out okay. It was absolute bloodbath. Children and elderly everywhere. Felt like scene from Nova. What is Nova? Is that a movie?
No idea.
But also incredible seeing how everyone rushed to help. Surreal, end quote. Emergency services treated victims at the scene and moved the injured to hospitals as police secured the area. And it goes on to some more details about the event. But again, this guy, Arsen Ostrovsky, well known Arsen Ostrovsky, again, well known in sort of the activism for Israel. He campaigned quite a bit. There's a whole backstory of him after October 7th, really becoming passionate about this issue from Australia. And okay, you would think maybe, all right, interesting that this guy who writes for the Post, the Jerusalem Post, is there. He gets wounded at this event.
So
the internet, Basil,
Nova looks like it refers to the Nova Festival, which was the
the event
festival on the border of Gaza, which is interesting because there's a lot of real big questions around Nova. about, they were given the security go ahead and they changed the date to be on this date and they extended their thing so they could be there. A lot of weird stuff about the Nova. There's a lot of alleged, weird stuff regarding friendly fire and helicopters. Just a lot of weird stuff about Nova. So we were trying to figure out, okay, this guy, somebody claimed this guy survived October 7th, right? Was that in this article?
I believe, actually, yes, I believe it did say that. Let me see if I can find the mentions here. Yep. Oh, maybe it wasn't this article.
Because he says,
oh, you know what? It was a Daily Mail article. I don't think I put the link in there. The Daily Mail also had an article about this, and I think it was that one that mentioned how he had the language was interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to look for it as we talk here.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up too.
Here we go. Bloodied and bandaged Bondi terror attack victim declares, I lived through October 7th. Never imagined I'd see this horror in Australia.
Yeah, New York Post, October 7th survivor wounded in Bondi Beach terror attack after warning of surging Australian anti-Semitism. So it says a survivor of October 7th terror attacks. Okay, so he sounds like he was at Nova. And this is a weird thing that we're seeing a couple times today as well. So this guy was at October 7th. He was also warning about stuff and then also happened to be here at Bondi Beach.
I don't know if he was at October. I mean, that's what New York Post is saying.
New York Post, October 7th survivor wounded. A survivor of October 7th terror attacks in Israel who was wounded by Sunday's deadly shooting on Bondi Beach in Australia has described the horrific moments two terrorists opened fire at the Hanukkah celebration. Just 2 weeks earlier, he had warned about the thing. They're claiming he is a survivor of October 7th. And
okay. Yeah, all right. So it says that here. Said he lived in Israel for 13 years and survived the October 7th. Okay, so he was in Israel when it happened. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, and he's giving the impression that he was at Nova. He's saying this was what it was like at Nova. Now, if he's just kind of saying that allegorically or something, maybe that's it.
That's what I'm saying. I can't tell if it's just like, I could say I survived 9/11, Basil.
Yeah,
I was in California,
right.
But we were all there. Is it that kind of thing, or is it like he was actually there and like ran away? Because it's hard to tell based on what they're saying. I guess the New York Post assumed that, and that's what I assumed at first as well. But based on multiple reports,
they're being very vague about that.
They're being very vague. Yeah, I mean, the quote here from Ostrovsky on the Daily Mail is, "I lived through October 7th. Never imagined I'd see this horror in Australia." And then later it says, "I survived." So Mr. Ostrovsky said he had lived in Israel for 13 years and survived the October 7th, 2023 attacks. So maybe he was in Israel? Is that close enough to say he survived it?
Good question. I mean,
these are just questions that are meant to, I think, keep us in.
The only reason it would really matter about the specifics, in case anybody's wondering why we're trying to figure it out,
why we're going down this trail,
is because so often we see certain people happen to be at several different once in a lifetime events. You'll have the people who happen to have, be present at several school shootings, or you have people who happen to be present at kind of like who was it? Was it the sheriff during the Las Vegas attacks suddenly was the police commissioner at the Lahaina fire?
Right.
That kind of weird.
That's what I'm saying. All these events always have a same cast of characters that seem to repeat quite often.
It's just weird, but it makes the story very powerful. is the point.
It does. It
If he
does.
was on October, if he was there and survived the Nova Festival on October 7th, and now he's here, the impression is that a single man cannot get away from the violent anti-Semitism, terrorism that's roiling.
It's rampant. It's rampant. It's if we don't put an end to it and censor the entire world, then more people are going to get killed.
If you think it can't happen to you, it happened to this guy twice.
Twice. I think that's the narrative that's the theme of today. If you don't think you can be involved in some kind of shooting event, it can happen to you twice. Now, of course, the internet is going to do its thing, and somebody posted an image of alleged arson Ostrovsky receiving makeup, where he's sitting on the grass, and there's he's got a big old smile on his face. In the foreground of where he's sitting is a table. They're all outside. There's like makeup equipment. There's like big bottles of fake blood, so, kind of looking like a movie set. And there's a makeup artist sort of putting the blood on his face. And some people said, "Is this AI?" And
even better, even better, behind him is an entire film crew with a giant film.
Yeah, that's what makes it a little AI-ish.
5 or 6 C-stands with lights and stuff like this. And of course, it's the internet. They're claiming, this is him during the filming of this alleged
dramatic moment where he almost got killed in his second shooting of anti-Semitic.
Whether or not the posters are real or it's just complete bot nonsense, there's people arguing about this. Is this real? Is this and this is a pretty good AI. There's no of the classic obvious AI problems. The writing on his shirt, it's blurry, it's hard to tell. You really don't see a lot of the writing on his shirt in the original picture that this would have been based on. It would, it would be a pretty well done, I believe it was a pretty well done AI. And the reason that I'm so sure about that is the fact that there's a full film crew. The stands that the lights are on are all kind of randomly placed. Like they don't follow any real film lighting strategy. And all of that work just to get this one picture of himself taking a selfie laying on the ground with blood. Okay. I can confidently say that this is not real. However, now let's go into just skeptic land. Okay. It has happened in the past, confirmed, that people's involvement or presence in certain places is not exactly how they, led everybody to believe. So while this is AI and there was no big film crew and all the stuff there doesn't even make sense for anybody who's been on any sort of set, the image of his there, if we were going to, as a practice, take a skeptical look, we go, okay, this guy was present at, October 7th, and he's like this activist and writer and journalist, and he's like getting quoted all the time and getting awards and stuff. And all we get is this selfie of him laying on the ground with blood. There's some interesting things like, I wasn't with my family. My family was away. I was alone when this happened. And, you could compare it to perhaps some people's conspiracy theory that Donald Trump had a blood pack on his ear. And, during his assassination attempt, he busted the blood pack, and that's how blah, blah, blah. So there's an interesting message here with this piece of AI going out there, which is, no, of course this isn't real. Lots of people are buying it just because that fits into what they're sort of programmed to believe, that everything is a literal film set. Okay. That we've talked about false flags. Okay.
Hey, look,
false
Basil,
flags.
it's staged, Basil. Look at it. It's a whole stage.
Yeah, right. It's staged. We've talked about false flags, and the powers that want to control the message online, they keep wanting to convince you that false flags means it didn't happen.
Right.
And that is not true at all. Anybody who is worth their weight in salt, or whatever the saying is, who's worth their salt, knows that a false flag did happen. The deaths are real. The violence is real. A false flag is not a staged event like there's movie cameras and lighting and makeup.
And that everything is fake in the sense of a movie where it's acting and yes, it's the line. It's a blur between, but nowadays, even those definitions are becoming blurry for people, especially because you got reality TV, which depicts what seemingly real or more real than like a script, obviously.
It is real.
It's more like off the cuff. It's, it's a little loosey goosey.
Planned, not scripted is reality TV.
Not scripted, yeah.
Planned, but not scripted. And
Sure.
so that's a good false flag analogy. But the fifth generation warfare of putting out this admittedly very good AI that looks extremely convincing, and I bet millions of people would be at risk of seeing this and going, oh my gosh, look, the whole thing was fake. Nothing happened there. This is all made up, total, theater, although it can be theater, but total movie magic. And they'll see this and that'll just integrate into their viewpoint, and they will, in this case, it'll foster the type of what the mainstream would call anti-Semitism.
Right.
And
maybe that's what it is. That's the op, is you gotta have, Israel's argument, modern nation state Israel, their argument for any type of censorship or any type of military action or none of it makes sense without a threat. You gotta have a threat.
Yeah.
And to create a true threat, you need to manufacture the people who think in the ways that fit the avatar of the threat. And so the people that would fit that are conspiracy theorists who think nobody died, for example, right? Similar to Sandy Hook or something. Where nobody died, and therefore the whole thing is fake and the whole thing is staged, and not real in that sense, where it's kayfabe. And certainly there's elements of it, but I think people get lost in it if you're not thinking critically about it. You can get sucked into it, and that'll just be it forever. You are a Bondi Beach was staged, nobody died narrative, which that goes in the count for anti-Semitism, which increases the anti-Semitism. And not to pick on Bibi and not to put too fine a point on it, but the famous quote from Bibi saying, we control the height of the flame, with this Hamas business. And of course, the infamous Mossad agent on 60 Minutes, we are a global
production company.
Yeah.
There you go. So
sports is happening for real, but you need a production company to be there and put the cameras and
heard some things about professional sports.
Yeah, I know. It's been pretty bad recently. It's been pretty bad.
Heard some things. All right. Anything to say about this? This will absolutely dominate the next week of content. Hundreds of episodes of podcasts. We'll be digging into all of this. But the gift from God for us on this show is to know the bigger, broader meta workings of the fifth generation warfare. And part of the fifth generation warfare is locking in as many independent, media people as possible into the cycle of, was it anti-Semitism? Is it anti-Islam? Is this real? Is it a false flag? Blah, 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 blah. So buckle up for that if you listen to any other podcasts.
That's supposed to be a gunshot. I don't know why it's such a...
It's just a little one.
Yeah.
But let's talk about let's hit that FBI jingle. Let's see what the FBI is up to.
Jingle. Oh my goodness, my microphone. Something's wrong with my microphone. Maybe the FBI are coming.
A lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay?
Unindicted co-conspirators.
I love that Tucker's in that jingle.
Yeah, makes nothing but sense. Yeah, okay. So some more crazy things happening over the weekend. We've got the Brown University shooting. Now this one, gosh, they are just so good at this, aren't they? Okay. So there was a shooting at Brown University. And right now there's not a whole lot of news. There's not a whole lot of anything. In fact, we'll see just how frustrating that is for the reporters trying to put the story out there. There was a moment where they had a person of interest. They brought that person of interest into the station, and they later let that person of interest go. It was a pretty embarrassing series of events, but seems to be fitting into the whole narrative with the Brown University shooting. I'm going to start because we don't know anything. There was, you know what? I actually want to start with. I want to start with the reporter grilling about Brown surveillance, Gons, if we can. It'll be a few tabs over. Not that one.
Oh, this one.
Another. It's a video.
That's a
Keep
video.
going. It'll be the last one on this series of stories.
Oh, okay. Police investigations moving quickly. Is it the Fox?
Yes, that's it.
The most common question I've gotten for the last 24 hours, it revolves around the fact that Brown University is the most camera-ridden, most responsive piece of real estate in Rhode Island, and yet there seems to be little or no video evidence outside of that clip. You know, respecting the investigation, is there a lot more video that we're just not able to see yet because of the ongoing investigation, or is there simply no video?
So what we shared with you the other day is what we have that we could share, and then we'll continue to, again, we're continuing to collect evidence. As we speak, we have detectives out there trying to continue to find. So I don't want to tell you that there's no more video because we might find something within the next few minutes. So yes, it's possible, but what we gave you the other day is what we have. Go ahead.
So this is part of what's really frustrating, and we're going to play that that second video, Guns, earlier in the series here in a second. This is what's really bugging people. There is almost no information. There's almost no like leads. They said they had a guy, and everybody's like, okay, we got a guy. Then they let the guy go. They say, oh, we don't have a guy. They mention here, the reporter saying, hey, Brown University has the most cameras in one place in Rhode Island, and you can't give us anything. They released one few second clip that has somebody in dark clothes, can't see a face, super blurry, nothing, about 100 yards from the camera, walking in shadows. It's absolutely nothing. They're like, oh, we got to find this guy. And they're like, that's nothing. It's like a Bigfoot video. It's like a blurry Bigfoot walking in the forest. There's nothing to see there. But it continues to frustrate people because they don't even know where or why or what was even happening in the classroom at the time. This happened in a classroom. It was not during a class, during a test, during anything. And this is the president of Brown University answering questions to reporters, just trying to get anything out of anything.
DC when it happened and flew right back, and I'm catching up right now.
President, with all due respect, 6 hours after this shooting, and you said you don't know what was going on in that classroom. How does that happen? Were they taking an exam? Were they meeting for a club?
I don't know.
6 hours later, and you're the president, and you don't know.
I do not know.
Well, that's kind of concerning.
So they know nothing. They don't know what the students were doing in the room. They don't blah, 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 which starts to be a little weird. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, wasn't there a class assigned to a classroom? Hey, now it's history 206, whatever. Nothing.
There's no event that they want to share with us that was happening in this mysterious classroom where this event happened.
Was this on a weekend?
Good question. We'll get into that in a second. There are some details coming out, and it's starting to have people kind of have to put the pieces together themselves. This is coming from Rhode Island Current. This is a local outlet there. 2 Brown University students who lost their lives in campus shooting identified. Brown University students Mohammed Aziz Umarzakov, 18 on the left, and Ella Cook, 19 on the right. The vice president of the college Republicans from Alabama and an aspiring neurosurgeon originally from Uzbekistan have been identified as the 2 Brown University students killed in Saturday's mass shooting on campus. So yes, it happened on a Saturday. Ella Cook, 19, sophomore, was described by her local church as a bright light who is always engaged in her community. Mohammed Aziz Umarzakov, 18, a freshman who graduated from high school in Virginia, is recalled by his family as incredibly kind, funny, and smart. News of Cook's death was shared on Sunday morning service at the cathedral. So there's some more things. There's some GoFundMes and things if anybody is interested. But so you have students in a classroom that the president at least doesn't want to share what they were doing there, maybe doesn't know, doesn't want to share. And one of the victims was the vice president of the college Republicans from Alabama. And the other guy was an aspiring neurosurgeon. People are seeing the vice president of college Republicans, this gal, wondering if maybe this was some sort of political club or something, or if this was a gathering of Republicans or something.
Right.
Now,
Because it is on a weekend.
It's on a weekend. It probably was extracurricular of some kind. And, who knows? But there's not enough there. It's just very strange. These are the types of things that people are trying to put together. Now, of course, that would be problematic. And I could see, Brown University not wanting to advertise that it was a Republican student committee meeting or something that got shot up. Because that would put too much sort of political flair on it. That would fit too neatly with the discussions about who's really the dangerous political party. Unfortunately, with so many pieces of violence recently in our country, people's minds automatically go to political violence coming from the left towards the right. We just simply don't know. But the fact that the president of the university has no idea, or at least doesn't want to share what was happening in one of their classrooms on a Saturday, where students would need permission to get a key to go into a classroom, would need some reason to be there.
Usually they would, it would have to be some club or something that's approved by the higher ups to walk into a classroom and do stuff in it. But
somebody would have to know. And 6 hours after, even one of the students who was there, nobody's alerted to tell. The president didn't ask any of the students what they were doing in the room. It's just very strange. Also strange, we get another piece of the theme. Gons, you have this from AP here.
Oh,
give it to him.
Yeah. So this is a couple stories, one from AP, one from The Guardian. I'll start with AP. A Brown University student survived being shot in high school. Then came the active shooter alerts. Excuse me? What happened? When Brown University's junior Mia Treta's phone began buzzing with an emergency alert during finals week, she tried to convince herself it couldn't be happening again. In 2019, Treta had been shot in the abdomen during a mass shooting at Saugus High School in Santa Clarita, California. I remember that one. 2 students were killed, and she and 2 others were wounded. She was 15 at the time. On Saturday, Treta was studying in her dorm when with a friend when the first message arrived, warning of an emergency at the university's engineering building. Something must have happened, she thought, but surely it couldn't be a shooting. As more alerts poured in, urging people to lock down and stay away from windows, the familiarity of the language made clear what she had feared. By the end of the day, 2 people were dead and 9 others injured in the Providence, Rhode Island shooting that once again upended a school campus. So yeah.
Yeah, this gal was not involved in this shooting.
She was
But
not.
the reporting is it's not quite exactly what we're seeing with the guy who was on October 7th and also
Shot through the head in Australia. Yeah.
Bondi Beach, right? But again, we're looking at the 5th generation narrative, 5th generation warfare. We have another instance where the reporting is, if you think this can't happen to you once, it happened to this gal twice, which is, we're starting to see a theme pile up, Guns.
Yeah. The AP mostly highlights Mia Tretta because she was actually shot in a prior mass shooting event or school shooting event. They mentioned somebody else, Zoe Weissman. To do that, though, to cover Zoe Weissman, I want to go to The Guardian, which, ironically enough, The Guardian didn't mention the first gal, Mia Tretta, but did mention this other gal. This is The Guardian. Brown University shooting. Authorities say they released sole person of interest. And this is more about the shooting, this article. But let me find that spot where it talks about Zoe. It says here, among those at Brown during Saturday's attack was 20-year-old Zoe Weissman, who had survived the 2018 school shooting in Parkland, Florida, that killed 17 victims. So another person that survived. I mean, Parkland's a huge one. Everyone really, people may not remember Santa Clarita, but I mean, I do because I'm in California, but people know about Parkland, right? 17 people killed. Quote, so I like how they do that. So, ellipses. My friend called me. I'm in my dorm. So they're both in their dorms, Basil. I'm in my dorm, and she asked if I was.
Where else would they be when?
I guess, but I'm saying, like, why aren't they
other
in an
people are
apartment?
meeting in classrooms sneakily?
I'm in my dorm, and she asked if I was in Baruch and Hawley, which is the building where the shooting occurred, and I told her no. Weissman told MS Now. She added, and I'm actually from Parkland, and I survived the shooting there. And so I was like, that's where my brain immediately went. And I was like, tell me if there's a shooting. And they confirmed for me. And so ever since then, I've just been staying in my room. I've been on my phone with my family, friends, and just keeping updated, end quote. Weissman attended a middle school next to the site of the 2018 Parkland mass murder. Quote, I think mentally, I feel like I'm 12 again, she said. Isn't that, all of these things, she's like quoting her. She's like giving away not giving away maybe, but displaying the MK Ultra trauma-based mind control, where it's like the trauma happened when she was 12. Now it's 2025. Was the math work on that?
Well, I mean, and that's
2018 she was 12. Okay, so that makes more sense.
That's the thing. And that's why we were trying so deeply to figure out if that arson guy was actually at and survived October 7th.
Right.
And at this new thing, because now we have 2 reports coming from the Brown University of people who were at other shootings and now are at this one, but it's not, look, it's
they didn't
horrible.
get shot at. They were there, so that's
this
girl
was at a different school. She was at a different school next to the shooting.
Well, you're talking about during the mass shooting experience, right?
The one in her past. She wasn't at Parkland. She was at a thing, and now they bring it up here. So at least in the reporting, in the narrative, it's giving the same impression of like, can it happen to me? Well, it happened to her twice. Well, it happened around her twice. It happened. She was in the area twice, which is horrible, and the message is there that things are so dire that multiple people are experiencing multiple shootings at the same time and very far away from each other geographically and far away from each other temporally. So the narrative is very strong with this one, especially because there's not a whole lot to write about the Brown University thing right now. So, they got to look for something. And this is a great way. I mean, we're seeing this strategy in the reporting across the board this weekend. Very strange.
It is very strange because it's normally left for internet sleuths to call out and document on a post or something, and I did see that too. And actually, the way I came across this story or this part of the story was seeing somebody post about it, like, hey, there's former people. And normally when you read that, you go, oh, there's the internet again doing its thing and trying to, connect dots and stuff. I was a little bit surprised to find that it was the AP and the Guardian both carrying this story, and really without any hesitation, really, or without any kind of big fluff, almost like it's normal. Maybe they are. That's what they're doing. They're normalizing this idea that not just that it can happen to you multiple times, but when this happens, it happens to the same type of folk. So I don't know. I'd be freaked out if I was a student at one of these schools,
Well, yeah.
and from one of these past experiences, I would be, I don't know, moved to somewhere.
It continues the sort of trauma-based control mechanism.
Trauma-based mind control.
That's-
Yeah. Fear-based.
We're there right now with 2001. Okay, so of course 9/11. That's the big one for our generation, Cons.
Yes.
9/11,
Yep.
and it's interesting because Candace Owens, of all people, posted, I think it was last week, something to the effect of, my sources say keep an eye out for another 9/11 style attack in the first couple weeks of December. And there's a lot of people looking around at the events of this weekend and saying that, but it's a good example of, 9/11 is one of these, of course, one of these big trauma-based mind controlled social engineering projects that affects everyone in our generation quite intensely. And that trigger we've talked about before of, another 9/11 style thing, a 9/11 style thing. Oh, this one was worse than 9/11. Oh, this is going to be another 9/11 style thing.
Which we know this is a thing, like using this type of language is a thing, framing and almost like an archetype, if you will, because some of the documents that led up to 2001, September 11th, 2001, the writing was, we need another Pearl Harbor. That was the language in the intelligence documents.
Right.
Like, hey, we need another Pearl Harbor. So, but they got it with 9/11. After that, it was, hey, there might be another 9/11. We need another 9/11, or there might be a 9/11. I mean,
it's like they've traded in these gigantic events for like smaller events. Easier.
It's decentralized
Smaller,
terror, baby. Decentralized
easier.
terror.
Sure, decentralized false flag events where they don't necessarily have to blow up a building every few years or, bomb some sort of military installation, although that stuff does happen.
Yeah.
They've moved to these sort of smaller, quicker, easier trigger events to, kind of keep developing. Because the idea of another 9/11 style event is so catastrophic to think about. Like, I couldn't even imagine. Like, what's bigger than blowing up 2 World Trade Centers and
3,000 people dying
and mysteriously the building 7 that people don't like talking about? Like, what could possibly? I can't even think of a set of buildings that could even compare to that. So it's kind of there's a little bit of an impotence in that strategy where it's something so big that doing another one is like almost impossible. It would just be, even for the people who benefit from it, you're like, it's just too much work. They're on to it.
Maybe that's what it is too. They're at a point where they're like, let AI do it. We're tired.
Just do little ones.
We worked really hard to get to where we
tragedies, and we'll follow the same people around and put them through little tragedies, and so we can use them as examples. All right. On top of that, there was another one. This is the headline from CBS News. We'll play a clip from Fox. 4 members of far left group charged for alleged terror plot in California, feds say. Do you have that Fox report?
I do. Here we go.
FBI now reports that it's disrupted a planned New Year's Eve terror attack in Los Angeles. 4 suspect custody, the FBI identifying them as members of a pro-Palestine extremist group. They're suspected of planning coordinated IED attacks targeting 5 different locations in Los Angeles. But based on the reporting now, that plot has been foiled. We will wait for more out of LA or out of Washington, D.C. The FBI.
I like how they're, for those of you just listening, it's the anchor. I don't know who this guy is on Fox News. And then they just do B-roll of what's his name? I forget his name. The FBI director right now.
Patel.
Kash Patel. Thank you. Kash Patel, which I don't know. It's always just interesting when they're just showing the FBI, the head of the FBI, while they're talking about different people, you know.
Yeah,
But
well,
anyway.
it's kind of, I'll tell you why. It's to call into question the legitimacy of what the FBI is doing. You know, a lot of
they're
bad press.
painting him as the hero. He's the hero that thwarted the terror plot.
Let me put it together for you.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Kash Patel, to especially the mainstream media, is kind of a big embarrassment. He's had a lot of weird stuff using FBI equipment and planes for his girlfriend. You know, the Epstein files, a huge botch. He's always getting, made fun of for all sorts of reasons. Even the right is starting to kind of lose their faith in Kash Patel. And he's just kind of one of these characters that's starting to lose sort of the seriousness, right? So now, why would they want to apply this kind of negative, not taking this guy seriously affect to this story? Well, it's because FBI Director Kash Patel said that the 4 people who faced charges were members of a group known as the Turtle Island Liberation Front. Bondi described the Turtle Island Liberation Front as a far-left pro-Palestine, anti-government, and anti-capitalist group. Now, this Turtle Island Liberation Front is a organization that I believe started in LA. Turtle Island refers to sort of Native American mythology that the earth is we're on the back of a turtle and it's turtles all the way down. That's kind of where that saying came from. And so, the Turtle Island Liberation Front is kind of this your usual, it's the type of organization that people on the left are encouraged to not really take seriously, in the same way that Antifa doesn't exist, right? The same way that, Chaz Chop was just like a summer camp for people who didn't like the government or whatever. But you come in and you start attaching Kash Patel's name, you start attaching Bondi's name, and at least to the people reading CBS News, which is what I have in front of me, it gives them pause. Go, oh, Turtle Island Liberation Front. Oh, far left, pro-pal. Okay, sure. Now, what was really interesting, says here, Bill Essayli, who leads the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles, said at a press conference that the 4 individuals were arrested Friday in San Bernardino County, where they gathered to construct and detonate test explosive devices in the Mojave Desert. He said the suspects allegedly crafted a detailed, coordinated plot to bomb 2 U.S. companies on New Year's Eve, with the devices simultaneously exploding at midnight. Essayli did not name the companies, but said they were logistics centers. Now, interesting twist from CBS News here. CBS says they are going to bomb 2 U.S. companies. The actual words in the news release was that they were planning on bombing 5 locations. 5 location centers, right? They are going to plant 5 bombs. But CBS comes through and says, okay, well, it looks like there's only 2 companies. 2 is better than 5. So we'll just say they'll bomb 2 companies, okay? Not 5 locations. So, it's these little things, these little crafting of the narrative to incrementally either soothe the public or rile up the public. In this case, because it's leftist terror and leftist terror doesn't exist, they got to ratchet down the severity on places like CBS News. One of the very interesting things about this report and this press conference was that they talked about how they had surveillance planes following these people into the desert. And that's what you can see on the screen here. Very interesting piece of footage from a slow-moving surveillance plane watching these 4, I guess, terrorists set up like a little tent to keep the sun off of their explosive devices.
Why does it look like lost footage from the moon landing?
Yeah, well, it's probably a plane really high up in the sky. Officials played a video that they said showed defendants gathering in the desert to test bombs. The footage was taken by a surveillance plane, according to Asali, and FBI agents arrested the defendants soon after. An affidavit from the FBI said that the co-conspirators unloaded bomb-making material from cars and started to assemble the material on a table under a tent while they were in the Mojave Desert. The FBI intervened before the 4 defendants could finish assembling a functional bomb, according to the court filings, which also seems like a whoopsies by the FBI a little bit. It seems like you'd want them to actually have a bomb and then swoop in, and it just makes the charges a little bit more serious. You get more of a conviction. They can't say, "Oh, we weren't building bombs. We were just."
Hey, Jerry, are you sure that you gave them the bombs that we were supposed to give them?
Or taught them
they've got him. They've got him for sure. You can go arrest them now.
No, you got to, Bobby, you got to wait until they actually build the bombs we told them how to build. It doesn't help if they haven't built them yet. All 4 defendants are from the Los Angeles area and have been charged with conspiracy and possession of an unregistered destructive device. Additional charges could be filed in the coming weeks, according to Asali. He described the suspects as radical anti-government members of the Turtle Island Liberation Front. The Turtle Island Liberation Front describes itself on Facebook as a political organization that seeks liberation of occupied Turtle Island and liberation of all colonized people across the world. Turtle Island
as in America, right? Like the continent of America.
Turtle Island is the name used by some indigenous peoples for North America. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, what's funny is,
did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
No longer are the days where you can go experiment stuff in the desert, apparently.
I know.
You just can't. All those TV shows and movies where it's like, you just go test it in the desert. No longer. You're wide open right there. That's actually preferred probably by the military industrial complex. Actually, go to the desert to experiment on your stuff.
Yes,
allow us to find you a lot
easier.
There's
no coverage, right? There's no coverage. There's no. Well, it's interesting because as we were putting these clips together, they kept disappearing. Like it looked as if X was trying to scrub all the footage, or the footage, kept whatever disappearing. We had to find this weird, like somebody filming a TV screen to actually get the footage, which was weird because part of it is like, I don't know, maybe it's giving too much away. Of like, oh, they have.
wait a minute. We just told them that we watch everybody. We have an eye in the sky. We have Skynet watching every inch of the desert.
Yeah, the surveillance planes were a big deal during Black Lives Matter, and there was a lot of like human rights people coming out and screaming that like, hey, FBI, you can't have surveillance planes watching everybody.
They looted Louis Vuitton. We gotta arrest them, or at least charge them for what they stole.
Yes.
Therefore,
and now they're watching the desert, so don't think that they can't see you out in the desert, folks. On top of this, just a list. I mean, there's so much more. There's so much more. 5 Islamists were arrested in Germany for planning an attack on a Christmas market. There were Christmas markets that got not violently taken over, but sort of aggressively taken over by more immigrants in Europe. It just went on and on and on this week, or this weekend rather.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of scripture that I was looking at to see it's tough because I don't want to read into the scripture. I just want it to feed us, feed us in these types of situations. And all I can think of is just that all of these stories and everything that we're seeing are the symptoms of the fallen world, whether it's evil people over there or more likely, as we've pointed out, the spiritual battle, the principalities and powers behind institutions, organizations, certain geographic locations, and certain individuals, of course, I'm sure. And I just thought to myself, even with like the whole debate with Charlie Kirk's murder and the thing happening with Erika Kirk and Candace Owens, and now this American First versus the MAGA and the blah, 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 and the whole debate, everything going on. There's so much strife going on. And it's so simple. The biblical message of love is so simple. I know it's like complicated when you dig into the Greek, and there's like 6 different words for love, and there's all this stuff going on that you can dig into and find out more about. But I thought I'd just pull up a proverb, because Proverbs always tends to give us a little wisdom. And Proverbs 10 verse 12 says, hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. So, we should be praying for our enemies. We should be trying to spread the love here. And I would imagine that like most podcasters aren't trying to frame this as like, hey, world needs a little more love. Like all these people that are involved in the PSYOP, whether they know it or not, they need Jesus. We have this very like, I don't know, non-controversial in sort of a political sense stance on these things, this spiritual view. But, I don't know. That's what it is, Basil. Do you have anything to add to that? Or is there like a scripture that's really burning at you to, because there's a lot of scriptures about wicked people and wicked men. And I was going to do Psalm 7 too, Psalm 7:14 through 16. Behold, the wicked man conceives evil and is pregnant with mischief and gives birth to lies. He makes a pit, digging it out, and falls into the hole that he has made. His mischief returns upon his own head, and on his own skull his violence descends. And, there's a sense of that with all this violence going on of like, yeah, there's going to be violence when you stir things up, which a lot of the intelligence ops, that's what it's about. All the propaganda, all the 5th gen warfare, ultimately they want the people. They would rather have, I'm sure, and the enemy at large would rather have quote unquote a random occurrence of terror or something like that, right? As opposed to like, hey, we gotta get our guy out there. He's got to get a bullet grazed over his bald head, and got to get a bloody pic. All that stuff takes a lot of effort, and people can not cooperate. So I'm sure it's a little bit of both, but I just go back to praying for your enemies and just loving your neighbor, loving God, telling them that they need Jesus. If everyone had Jesus, I don't think they'd be shooting each other. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
crazy.
the violence, this is a fallen world. It's never going to stop. That's what it is. And that's, it's again, putting it back in the context of spiritual warfare, 5th generation warfare. That's where the real power and peace comes for those who follow Christ. And this is part of what makes this kind of show less appealing to the average internet person who wants to come on. They want to hear about the shooter was in the IDF, and that the reporter guy was, at both events, and how the false flags, and how he had makeup on, and how this and that, because it's become a source of entertainment for people, a source of entertainment, things to focus on that aren't, on one hand, that aren't the pains of this world, the economic problems, the maybe the family problems, maybe the this, maybe the that. Nick Reiner, the addict, he killed his parents. Oh, what happened to him when it blah 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 across the board? It's become, and it's really sad to see, but I guess it was inevitable that sort of obsessive paying attention to the details, so that as if that gives us some sort of power. Because I feel it too. I told the story. I told my buddy after I had, explained to him all the, the machinations of the elites. He goes, does it make you feel good to know this? Is that good? And I was like, actually it does. I mean, it makes me feel like, things aren't just happening to me. I feel like when something happens, it doesn't manipulate me. It doesn't control my emotions. It doesn't control my even spending habits or, fear response or something. And that is true. But anything past that, if it becomes entertainment to distract us from, the other important things in our life, or God forbid, distracts us from what's eternally important, and we start confusing our daily relationship with Christ and our daily spiritual focus and practice, if we confuse that with keeping up on the newest conspiracy, the moment by moment, each detail that proves that Israel did it or something, because that's what it's for. It's meant to fill us up with the unimportant stuff, when the real important stuff is what matters. And this is a very testing time. We are in a very testing time where many people, we had a moment of sort of Christian revival where many people were finding Christ and, finding true meaning and realizing that things are not what they seem just on this earth and in this
the good old
world.
days from 2 months ago, 6 months ago.
Right. And we're very dangerously on the precipice of all of that being squashed, all of that being filling the vessel with dirt before the oil goes in, or filling it up with trash before there's so there's no room for what's really important. And that's why a lot of the very popular programs that we see, that's what they do. It's the reality show playing into the reality show. The show becomes, the true crime show, and not the searching for truth and ultimate truth in Christ Jesus. And so I just really, for our people, I want you to keep your sanity. I want you to keep your eyes on Christ. I want you to keep a level head and don't get too caught up. Look, we're here to curate. We'll curate as much as we can for all this crazy stuff going on. Look, if you saw something crazy on an X post or something and we don't bring it up here, just know it's probably because we think it's total BS. It's not. A lot of it is just total BS, and we got to be happy with. A lot of people get mad when something like that turns out to be BS. It can be embarrassing that you latched onto it, and that's okay. But it's better that things are BS than.
It actually is. It actually is better when some of those things that are kind of ridiculous to be not true, or at least exaggerated for the purposes of social media and stuff. Because if they were, then, and I mean, I guess some of the crazier things are true and becoming true, but yeah, I think people can very much fall into a trap there. I had this up, Basil.
Yeah.
I had this up because I just found this. I thought it would be fun for our viewers. If you're listening, we'll try to explain what's going on. Apparently, Trump in the Oval Office, there's a bunch of military people walking around, and Trump has no one to talk to. And it's an interesting piece of footage. I'll play it for you, Basil. So they're walking around.
There we go.
There's, the military people are in little circles chatting it up. Trump's got no one to talk to. He's turning around.
It's like Charlie Brown Christmas.
That's exactly what it is. Nobody wants to talk to Trump. He's over here.
I feel bad for people when that happens. I'm too soft, man. When I see somebody, even somebody I don't like or do like or don't know or anything, I see somebody shunned in a social situation.
There you go. You got a handshake from a guy.
There we go. He got that guy. I feel sad. That's probably why I had so many really weird friends. Growing up, I had the weirdest friends, and it was probably because nobody else wanted to be friends with him.
He got his marker out. What is he going to do? Is he going to sign something? He's got to use the magic pen.
Got to make sure to use the audio. Put the audio up when he starts signing.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Got to listen to it.
Great job.
Here's the
I don't know if we're going to hear it.
Signing marker. Come on, Trump.
We're going to cut the clip right before he starts writing.
Sign it.
Come on, start writing.
That is interesting. They cut it right before he starts signing. That's weird.
They're
Okay.
displaying a moment of weakness from our president. Nobody wants to talk to him.
All right. Let's keep us moving here
Yep.
because we got some exciting. Oh, I see. We have another story.
We got one more thing, real
Bring us
quick,
through
real
the
quick.
story. Let's go.
Let's do it.
You don't know what you're looking at.
What's driving that thing? It's not a space alien.
Alien. It's unidentified.
3I Atlas. It's a spaceship, according to Dr. Avi Loeb, Harvard scientist, Israeli, who says that, yes, it might be something not natural. Well, he was on Newsmax over the weekend, and he gave us a date. He's date setting, Basil, but there's also some other interesting anomalies, allegedly.
Thanks for being back with us. And we thought this was just bizarre. Can you tell us what happened to the NASA Maven spacecraft? It's been circling Mars for the last 10 years, and then suddenly 3I Atlas goes by it. And now for the first time in a decade, NASA has suddenly lost contact with Maven. What happened?
Well, the spacecraft went behind Mars when it obviously cannot communicate with Earth, but when it came back, there wasn't any contact, no signal, and NASA is trying to figure out what to do about it. The last scientific data that was valuable that came from Maven was the data from the passage of 3I Atlas close to Mars within 30 million kilometers. That happened on October 2nd. We saw some of the data in the press conference that NASA organized recently, but somehow this spacecraft is not available anymore now.
Yeah, and Maven theoretically would have taken photos of 3I Atlas. Is that correct?
Yes, it did already, and we saw some data from it.
So there you go. And NASA now claims, whoops, well, all of a sudden Maven is gone. We don't have contact with Maven, meaning we can't release those photos publicly. Okay, let's move on. So we're 8 days from 3I Atlas being closest to Earth on December 19th. What are you expecting us to learn next week? Are there going to be new photos released, or are we going to go through this whole thing again with NASA where they delay and lie and delay?
Well, it's not up to NASA. There are hundreds of observatories around the globe that will observe it. It's actually a very fortunate coincidence that the new moon occurs on December 19th when 3 Atlas is closest to Earth. So there wouldn't be any moonlight contaminating the images that we get. There would be also data obtained by the Webb telescope, the Hubble telescope. There are too many telescopes available for anyone to block that data. And what I'm looking forward to is in particular, knowing the speed of the gas in the jets that we see around the 3 Atlas. One of them is towards the sun, very surprising. We don't see that very often. And if we know the speed and we know the composition of those jets, we can figure out if there are just pockets of ice that are sublimated when exposed to sunlight, or perhaps some technological thrust.
New technological thrust capacitors. Guess what, Basil? Guess what our Canary Cry calendar says happens on December 19th.
What is it?
It is the founding anniversary of the American Meteorological Society from the year 1919.
Oh, interesting.
The American Meteorological Society was founded in 1919.
Is that
on
the
December
weather?
19th.
Is that meteorological like the weather or like meteor?
I think so. No, I think I don't know. Probably the weather. That's what I'm assuming, but maybe not. I don't know. I'll look it up.
I thought that 3I
American-
Atlas was supposed to come by in November. Is it now December? So that's a very interesting thing to happen. And this has been a classic, like Avi Loeb. Man, he has done a great job milking this.
Oh, just stringing it along, kicking the can down the road, man. This guy
Dates keep moving, and these little mysterious things. He included a few of them, but I mean, what's more mysterious than 3I Atlas passing by Mars, and then the Mars craft we have circling
Maven,
Mars for 10 years, Maven, who took pictures of it, suddenly stops responding. Ooh, the 3I Atlas disabled our space intelligence gear so it can sneak up on us.
Yeah, the American Meteorological Society, 1919, U.S. professionals and scientific organization focused on the atmospheric, oceanic, and hydrologic sciences. Their mission is to advance the atmospheric and related sciences, technologies, applications, and services for the benefit of society. Listen to their core activities, though. Scientific journals, publishing leading peer-reviewed journals. So like the Journal of the Atmospheric Sciences or Weather and Forecasting. And then conference and meetings, policy and public engagement, education and certification. So,
So nothing, just taking tax dollars and doing nothing.
No, you get molding the young minds of the future to discover the alien spaceship. That's
talking about Maven, the spacecraft that stopped working when 3i Atlas came by. Mike Guyver says it was the same company that had the video cameras on Epstein. It's good. Thank you, Mike.
Good jokes. Good jokes. So there you go. That's the news for 3i Atlas. So look out, everybody. If you got a telescope, look for 3i Atlas on December 19th. It's a Friday.
Promise it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, you'll see colors. You'll see the future of thrust technologies right there in the sky. There you
Future of thrust. There
The
you
future
go.
of thrust.
Episode 900. Cool. All right. We good? We have some people to thank, Gons, because when we started the show today, we had nothing. We had nothing. And this is
really.
It's the way that God works, man. We start the show, we have nothing, but then the Holy Spirit moves, and now we have something. So I want to thank some executive producers that came in to support the show today. We are on the value for value model, folks. Means we don't take any money from corporations, commies, cartels, the Vatican, I don't know, other cartels, the military industrial complex, advertisements, platform partnerships, nothing. Although it did occur to me, I was listening to what's that guy's name? Sam Tripoli. And he had problems with YouTube forever, just like we did. And he said that he turned on advertisements on his YouTube channel, and then YouTube started actually showing his channel to people. It's the only thing that gives them any algorithmic benefit to show his channel. And so, here's what I was thinking.
Yeah, go ahead.
We probably can't monetize anyways on YouTube. They probably won't even let us. But if we did, we just turn on the ads, and so people can suffer, but watch the show or find the show in a place that doesn't hurt us so badly, like Rumble, or listen to the podcast version or whatever. Then they can know that when they sit through the advertisements, we don't actually take those advertising dollars. We can put them towards, like a Canary Cry, I don't know, some sort of charitable fund or something. So we don't get the money from the advertisement, but Canarians get the money from the advertisement. That way we're still value for value, and we can actually get into the algorithms. Is it a very sort of complicated nonsense plan? Yes, it absolutely is. But that just shows how much stronger we must be in our spirit to not monetize the YouTube channel, because of the spiritual implications of letting advertisers purchase your consciousness, dear Canarian, for their own personal gain. We don't do that. We're value for value. It's very easy. If you get any value from the show, put some value back into the show with your time, your talent, your treasure. It's not all about money. If you've got artistic talents like Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda, who absolutely destroyed, in the good way, the art for today's show, the video at the beginning of the stream, incredible. We're so lucky to have such a crazy professional do stuff for us sometimes. We did have a pretty significant increase in live viewership across the board. It's possible that that's just because of the crazy weekend and all the crazy stuff going on, and people just want to get tuned in and know what's going on in the world. But it's also possible that it's entirely Sir Darren's fault for getting people to actually click on the video, because of the absolutely professional thumbnail art that he sent us. So either way, thank you very much, Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda, for that. But You can also volunteer your time for the show, help us out with back-end processes, help us out with stuff like Dame Epony Blaze did, doing so much work to get the Canary Cry calendar out there. Thank you, Epony Blaze. Or if all else fails, you can support the show monetarily. You can support us with your treasure, like these executive producers did. We're going to thank right now. And remember, for the rest of December, where every executive producer in the rest of December, we're going to give them the option to receive a Canary Cry calendar if they would like. And if they don't want to receive it, they can sort of volunteer it to the Pay It Forward program, and we'll figure that out later. So thank you to the executive producers. They're the ones who come in, support the show for $100 or more for any individual episode. And I want to thank them right now. Gons, what do you say?
Let's do it.
I'll start out by thanking Sir Jamie, not the Lannister, coming in with his weekly tithe. Thank you very much, Sir Jamie, not the Lannister.
Thank you, Sir Jamie.
We also have we have executive producer Amber J, who came in.
Amber J, thank you.
Yeah, supported the show for a nice round number, which is good to remind people when you produce the show in any amounts, but especially executive producerships. If you support in a nice round number, like on the 10 or the 5 or the 100 or whatever, just a nice round number, that's you telling us you prefer we don't disclose the amount on the show. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount on the show, make it a funky number. Put like 33 cents on there, 1, 2, 3, 4, you get the picture. So Amber J, executive producer Amber J, came in for a nice round number and a note that says, "Merry Christmas, and may God and my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus." Philippians 4:19. Thank you very much, Amber.
Thank you, Amber J.
Amen, baby. Praise God. Thank you, Amber J. Then we have executive producer Sir LX Protocol V2 Baron of the Breen Protocol. And he comes in for $100 and 33 cents.
Illuminatus!
He's on a 447 episode streak and a 101 episode executive producer streak. Let's see here. We have executive producer Ionon, who says, "Please don't use my actual name in the announcement." You bet. Thank you. Thank you. Said I read that part to be an example to other producers. If you don't want us to use your real name, then tell us at the beginning, please. Thank you. Ionon continues. "I was hoping you guys will have a quarterly producership available, but this works too. I would like one of them calendars. Got fees covered. Merry Christmas, Ionon." Thank you very much, Ionon.
Thank you, Ionon.
Happy to get a Canary Cry calendar out to you. Yeah, No Agenda has a menu that you can pick the frequency of your producership. Really easy. And I don't know how they do that, but I'm going to have to do it. Yeah, once a quarter producership. If that's something people are interested in, let us know. I'll make a button. Thank you very much, Ionon.
Good, thank you.
Okay, I think that concludes the list of executive producers. That's right. Thank you very much, executive producers. Couldn't do without you. You saved the day. Because a big shout out to all of our monthly producers. God bless you, monthly producers. And that's, before we started the show, we had basically no producers, but we thought to ourselves, thank God for the monthly producers who say, I get value, I want to keep getting value, I'm going to join in and give some value back every month on a regular basis, because that gave us the strength to carry on today, Gonzo. We say, okay, even if nobody comes in to support the individual episode, we've got the monthly producers coming in, making it possible. So God bless you guys. Appreciate that. That includes the supply droppers. Thank you very much to the supply droppers. We actually had another Canary Cry supply dropper sign up. And I want to thank producer Katie P for coming in.
Katie P, thank you.
All right, Katie P went over to canarycrysupplydrop.com. She said, I am signing up to support the show for $33.33 a month. And every quarter, I'm going to receive a beautiful basket box. Sometimes it's a bag of beautiful Canary Cry gear, designed by Canary Cry artists, produced by Canary Cry producers. It's a very fun program. It's kind of our most successful program, and we love making all the weird, cool stuff. Sometimes it's apparel, sometimes it's accessories, sometimes it's office equipment, sometimes it's non-GMO seeds for your garden, sometimes it's survival gear. You never know.
Sometimes it's the future of money.
Sometimes it's literal gold.
Literal gold.
There's all sorts of great stuff that comes in the supply drop. So if anybody out there says, yeah, I like that, I want to keep the show going, I want to be part of the revolution against the economic beast system that sells my consciousness for the personal gain of podcasters and other media people, do it. Go to canarycrysupplydrop.com, sign up. We love you. Thank you, Katie. We had a producer come in under the executive producer amount, just one of them, and that is the wonderful producer Michael B.
Michael B, thank you.
Michael B, thank you very much, Michael B. Michael B came in for $70.77.
Ooh, nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Much appreciated. I didn't see a note from Michael B, but he's keeping it short and sweet. Thank you, Michael B. Good
You know
number.
what? I was going to say, he came in with a 7.7. We don't get to play these jingles. We might adapt some of these for stuff like that.
Fiction.
It's wonderful.
That's a 77 jingle streak, but you know, when somebody comes in with a 77, I think
something about the compression on the live feed here. I couldn't hear any of the vocals on that. Was there vocals? I'm assuming.
Kind of.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Michael B. And of course, as always, the wonderful CageRattlerCoffee.com.
CageRattlerCoffee.com. Pull up the website. Here we go.
Cage Rattler Coffee, where value for value never tasted so good.
Some people can't do the value for value. Some people just can't bring themselves to put value into something that they've already gotten for free. I get it. It's difficult. But to inch your toe, to put your toe into the waters, you can go to CageRattlerCoffee.com. This is wonderful artisan, small batch roasted coffee from all over the world. You got the Nicaragua beans, the Porter, I forget the other one. They're all over the place. The Congo, there was
Colombia,
Ethiopia. Look at all these beans. These beans are coming in from all over the place, folks, and they're
Tanzania.
They're getting roasted by a Canary, a small batch with so much love, and you drink this coffee and suddenly the scales fall from your eyes and you can see the truth beyond the veil. Go to CageRattlerCoffee.com. They just fired up their Coffee of the Month Club. You can join the subscription, or you can just go ahead and get your biggest bag of coffee you could possibly carry. Got some great feedback. I don't know if I could pull it up real quick, but somebody texted and said, I ordered 3 pounds of coffee, and that's great. But then I looked at my bank statements, and the guy talking about the CageRattlerCoffee.com reversed the transaction and then charged me again and gave me a discount, mystery discount, just for being a good guy. They're very good over there. Customer service is excellent. CageRattlerCoffee.com, and a piece of every bag sold goes to support the show. So you can support the show and stay jazzed all day, all night, never go to sleep. Coffee forever. CageRattlerCoffee.com.
I love it.
I want to we have a prayer request here, but I want to give a shout out to everybody who's on the Canary Cry text message alert system. If you're not on it, you should get it on now. Text the word canary to 877-740-3226. Go ahead and do it. Tons of people have. Text the word Canary, just the word Canary, to 877-740-3226. And you'll start getting a notification from me. I will personally send you a text message when we're about to go live so you can actually make it to the show. Don't rely on the video platforms. They do not want you to watch the show. But the fun part is you can text us back at that number. You can text back whatever you want. I read pretty much all of them. Sometimes I read them on the show. And we got a text message from 360. Oh, this is Sir Tristan, Knight of the Garden. Hit the producers here.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. The producers. This is a great way to become a producer of the show, a spiritual producer of the show, maybe the most important way you can do it. We answer prayer requests. We're praying for the show, praying for Gons and I, praying for all the producers. And this comes in from Sir Tristan, Knight of the Garden, says, producers, I need you. I feel like I'm in a Frank Peretti book. The enemy is attacking my family. My wife suffers from mental health issues and alcoholism. She has been to rehab multiple times this year. Our pastor at our church had a prayers deliverance type meeting scheduled for her Tuesday. We both love and follow Jesus, but there's a spiritual stronghold the enemy has over my wife. CPS is now involved, and I'm currently placed out of the household. Prayers against the enemy and that the truth will prevail. No weapon against his people shall prosper. My family is in danger. Please lift them up. My wife's name is Katrina. Your humble servant, Sir Tristan, Knight of the Garden. Love you all. Please pray and keep praying for us. Don't give the enemy a gap in prayer. All the producers out there, everybody within the thrall of my voice, we're putting Sir Tristan, Knight of the Garden on the prayer list. We shall pray day and night. And goodness gracious, when the enemy really senses he's in trouble, he gets to work. And one of the most diabolical things he can do is to worm his way into a beautiful family like Sir Tristan's there. And gosh, I know for a fact we have tons of Canarians who understand the issues with addiction, the alcoholism. It doesn't matter what it is absolutely sinister. And we are all praying together that we come up against the works of the enemy. The adversary will not prosper here. That Jesus's hand is all over Sir Tristan's family, and not only protection and grace and comfort and strength to Sir Tristan, and not only to Katrina, but also every member of that family. Because goodness gracious, that is a real horror show when things can feel hopeless in that way, and somebody feels powerless against something that has its claws in them, but is also an opportunity for us to be expectant and faithful, and to really watch Christ do an amazing miracle in your guys' life and in your family. So we're praying for you, Sir Tristan. God bless you, bud.
Yep. Definitely praying for you, bud. Yep.
We also have, and he added, please pray for the safety of my children. Okay, we're praying for the safety of Sir Tristan's children. That one came in separately, so we are also compounding that prayer with that additional request there. 970 texted, says, great accomplishment, guys. Congratulations. Talking about episode 900. Thank you.
Thank you.
406. Oh, this is Monica. Says, I was just reading the email. Thank you, Basil. Have a great show. I'll be baking cookies and tuning in for all the latest OP news. Thank you, Monica. Let's see. Somebody sent some pictures. That doesn't always work. Let's see. This looks like, Sir Ike says, please let the supply droppers and shirt council members know that if there are any updates to shipping addresses or shirt sizes, email those to canarycrysupplydrop.com. You're running out of time if you need to update anything, but email canarycrysupplydrop@gmail.com to update your address or your sizes, please. Thank you. Let's see here. I'm already on the supply drop, so if I'm awarded with the executive producer calendar for each tithe, it can go to another Canarian. That was Sir Jamie donating a couple calendars out there. Let's see. Here's a big one, or here's one. I can tell in the first couple words here. 678 says, one last ditch effort. Ask for prayer for this real estate issue with a mother's house and the balance. for the son to come to his senses and not force his mother into a situation where she could lose her house. Love y'all. Merry Christmas. Also, little baby Bella caught a cold. Now, Mama has it now. Papa has a little bit too. So pray for all the prayers. Love y'all. Okay, 6, 7, 8 producers praying for the health of this family. Of course, little baby Bella as well. And yes, that real estate issue has just been going. This is the first details, really. We've gotten it all. But family real estate issues are the worst.
Yeah, it can get ugly.
Another great opportunity for a miracle, because, yes, family and money and real estate can get real ugly. We're praying for you over there, 6, 7, 8.
Yep, absolutely.
So there you go, everybody. Text the word Canary to 877-740-3226 and let us know what's going on. It was a good time. Okay. Gons, we have one more very important thing to do.
Okay.
And that is tonight, our new night on episode 900. For those who don't know, there is an elite group of producers. They are called the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. You might be wondering why so many people have Sir or Dame in front of their face, in front of their name. And that's because they have supported the show in the amount of $1,000 or more. This could be all at once. This could be over many years. But inevitably, once they do, they are honored with a seat at the table at the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. You can see a full list of our Knights and Dames by going to canarycrynewstalk.com/roundtable. And we are about to add a new one because Aaron B. officially accomplished his knighthood earlier this year, but just realized it and called it in, and we saved it for episode 900 because what an honor. Tonight, a new night of the Canary Cry Roundtable on episode 900. It's just had to be done. Okay, let's do it, Gons. Did I miss anything?
Look how sharp and shiny it is.
Very sharp, very shiny. You know, I started playing a video game lately called Ghost of Yote, which is another samurai game. And so when I play this game, I feel very close to you, Gons. I feel like
you're
becoming very
with my ancestry.
I am. I'm quite good at dual katana. And what's another word I know? I just got, oh gosh, I'm not going to remember any of the words now that it's live. Never mind. I'll save it for next time. So today I will also use a katana.
Oh.
Yeah. Aha.
Yeah.
We want to call. We'd like to call up Aaron B. Please step forward to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have a seat for you. Thanks to your generous support in the amount of $1,000 or more, we are proud to pronounce you Sir Aaron B., knower of the times, poema of the one true God. Please join us at the Canary Cry Roundtable, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, breastplate of righteousness, custom fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiating salvation, and the supernatural sword of the spirit. And of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling. And if you're hungry, we have fancy feast, wet food, carved Cosmo, the CRISPR cow, and of course, fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. Sir Aaron B., knower of the times, poema of the one true God. Congratulations. I'm looking down the thoroughfare and I see all the happy townspeople putting Sir Aaron B. up on their shoulders, carrying him through the town square. There's lots of confetti and dancing. Congratulations, Sir Aaron B. And thanks again for all your support over the many years you've been supporting the show.
Yeah, thank you. It's an honor to have you on the list, which I will add to right now as you talk.
Okay, thank you very much. The website will be updated because if we do not do it live on the air, it will not get done because of the many distractions of real life. So we're happy to do that for you. And listen up, folks. It's easier than you think. It's easier than you think. Even signing up for something like the Canary Cry supply drop, I forget what the math turns out to be, but I'll tell you what, like many supply droppers have learned, You sign up, you support the show, you make it part of your not just your media diet, which is going to cleanse you of all those media parasites, but supporting the show, joining in, becoming a part of what makes this show so weird and so unique, the value for value model, which has worked so few times in the history of podcasting, because it's a very difficult time to do. It's a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah. Time too. It takes a lot of time as well.
Very difficult time. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is. I mean, we don't need to talk about it anymore. We've talked about it, and that's not just our opinion. Also, every single person who does what we do knows that this is a very difficult time. We are in transition. The world will look entirely different. It already does from last year. Next year is going to be the same. As far as schedule for December, I guess you and I will talk off air first, but I guess next week is Christmas. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
What are we
no.
doing? Are we still showing? We're showing up. We got to show up.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do Christmas Eve, but we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll know more in a couple days.
Christmas. When is Christmas? Let me see. Oh, Christmas Christmas Eve is Wednesday. So there's probably not going to be a show that day because I'm doing a Christmas service and there's a whole lot of stuff going on that day. So
church, man,
but Monday, the 22nd, I think at least I will be able to do a show that day.
Okay. Well, there you go. At least he'll be able to do a show that day. We'll figure it out. But we will be back on Wednesday. Thank you, everybody. Big shout out to some of our producers who help us out with their time. Of course, the one, the only, well, I guess I shouldn't assume, but who did the timestamp, Gons?
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
As I buy some time to double check and look, but yes, I believe it is Jade Bouncerson.
Thank you very much, Jade Bouncerson. God bless you. And if anybody wants to help out Jade Bouncerson, send us an email at canarycrysupplydrop@gmail.com. God bless Jade Bouncerson. All right. Thank you to Jam, who's heads up the Telegram, if you're a Telegram person. Adam42 heads up the Discord, if you're a Discord person. You can join those. If you're not those, you can become those by going to canarycry.party. And you'll find the invite links for those two groups. Thank you to Joe for all your feedback. Thank you to Clank for everything you do. And thank you to Sir Ike, of course, for the innumerable ways that you make this show better. And other than that, share the show, folks. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. What's better than telling a Christmas tale on Christmas Eve about the canaries that live in your chimney and bring truth and tear the scales from our eyes about how the mainstream media does not have our best interests in mind. Share it with cookies and milk, folks. But we call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted. I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! Don't ever silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Guns, you got any last words?
Did we forget to do somebody's art today?
No, it was.
I'm trying to remember. Did we? Oh, we did cover it. Okay, I'm trying to think of. Yeah. Okay, we did it. All right. No, I don't think there's anything other than tomorrow is the anniversary for the Boston Tea Party. So, what was it? 1% tax, and they started throwing tea overboard, and we're getting taxed what? 20% now, 30% as a nation.
The best way to celebrate the Boston Tea Party is to go to cagerattlercoffee.com and get some coffee. We don't drink tea in this country.
Great idea. I think that's a brilliant idea.
There you go, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Crime News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths! This is not about freedom or personal choice.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people zoo.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the Lord. From the heavens, praise him in the heights. Praise ye him, all his angels. Praise ye him, all his hosts. Praise ye him, sun and moon. Praise him, all ye stars of light. Praise him, ye heavens of heavens, and ye waters that be above the heavens. Let them praise the name of the Lord, for he commanded, and they were created. Mountains and hills, fruitful trees, and all see
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
It's value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary.